about what we're doing. Well met, I'm Cynycal. This is my channel, the home of Cough RPG, and all around me right now, this is Other Skies. This is our sci-fi campaign that we've been building for a long time. It's a gritty science fiction game, setting of our own creation, and it's using a very customized setup involving CVS Engine and Traveler. This is a tabletop stream, so we'll be focusing on that. We may not talk right away in chat or anything like that, but we really appreciate you being here. So let's go ahead and talk about our players and stuff. Let me move over to them. Hey, here we are. All right, everybody. Why don't you go ahead as I go through this list this time and introduce a very brief bit about your character's history and stuff, and then we can go ahead and jump into playing after the intro. Just keep in mind that you don't have to go into too much detail. There's no backstory yet, really, or like not backstory. There's no recap yet, so don't spend too much time on it. But yeah, let us know who you're playing. But anyway, everybody out there, these are my friends. Together we are COFH RPG, a group of people that have been playing in Connected Worlds together for decades. So let's go ahead and have us introduce each of them. So he's played a tavern keeper who once helped slay 2 cosmic dragons, a grizzled space detective that planted a psychic tree, and a feeder of 2 hit dice ghouls. They almost always solve my puzzles. My longtime friend, Lord Venom 1. Go ahead and talk about yourself and your character, my friend.
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Lord Venom 1. Yeah, really excited to be starting this campaign proper after a lot of preparation and the other kind of short campaigns that we did to kind of feed into this. So excited to get going. I am playing Paris Harcrow. She was born on Luna. She's a very kind of intelligent young lady, very put together, hardworking, and studied hard. And she went to college and became a journalist. So she has been kind of traveling the system, just kind of looking for where the story is, learning about people and what they go through, and is sort of changing her mindset and kind of opening her mind to life and what it's all about, and hopefully becoming a traveler.
Awesome. All right, following that, they've been a Megacorp heir in a previous science fiction game that was looking for their lost parents. A ruin delving historian in one of our fantasy games, and a reluctant space captain in yet another sci-fi game, who is really good at crash landings, by the way. A fellow member of Screen Room, that's a Discord that you can check out through our connected channels and stuff here, as well as a Twitch channel that sometimes does stuff, I guess. Mad Cow 234, why don't you go ahead and talk a bit about yourself and your character?
Yeah, what's up, Nico? Yeah, Isaac is from Earth and grew up poor. Grew up poor, pretty smart though. Was able to get into university. Went to university. Became a chemist and minored in biology. And met some friends who made me want to move to Luna, and some stuff happened, and eventually I decided to go live out in the stars, as they say. I don't want to give too much away since we're gonna...
Yep. Sounds good. Right. Next up, they've played an amnesiac psychic experiment with a great haircut, a pacifist space surgeon obsessed with an old television series, and a wild man with an upset tummy. The first character he played was somebody else's. It's Society. Go ahead and talk about yourself and your character.
Yeah,
also a member of Screen Room.
I am Society, member of Screen Room. We have been secretly streaming on Discord for few months now. It's pretty dope. I like it a lot. It's fun, but yeah, I guess a little bit about me is I like playing Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop role-playing games in general. I've been DMing a game for almost 2 years now, and my characters are only level 7, so it's going pretty good. I like it. It's really fun. Massively
I like using that
entertaining.
as the measure of how good it's going. And they're only level 7, so it's great.
Yeah, it's going great. We're real zoomed in. It's fantastic though. I really like this hobby and I like being a part of it, and I like sharing it with everybody else. It's really cool that we can like take a peek into other people's games. I really enjoy that.
Absolutely.
So welcome everyone. It's really great that you're here. Hope you enjoy it. My character is named Lean Averton. She is from Luna and grew up there, but left almost as soon as she basically could, for a life of, I don't know, excitement. It's kind of small in like the grand scheme of things, because she just likes to drink and gamble and cavort, but she got a job doing some trading on a free merchant vessel and has been doing that for a while until recently, and we'll probably get into that. So looking forward to exploring this character.
Awesome. All right, finally, they've played a traveling hedge wizard that sealed themselves away for near eternity, an alien merchant engineer with an incompatible sleeping pattern, and a 3-foot-tall homicidal former prisoner. One of my oldest friends and a moderator for all these channels and communities around here. Go ahead and talk a bit about yourself and your character, my friend, Cynycal.
Hello, I'm Psycho. Wow. I myself am a gamer, mostly video games, but I do GM a tabletop group, Pathfinder. My players are now level 17, so things are rather chaotic. As for this character, he is Bailey, a Navy flyboy. Although the Navy wasn't treating him right, so he left and became a merchant. Merchant life was good, and he thought he could do better on his own or with a tight-knit group rather than with a big corporation. So he's on his own looking for that.
All right, let's go ahead and get this episode started of Other Skies. This will be the main campaign, Other Skies 2512, the first big campaign, and this will be episode 1, Into the Void.
The year's 2512 and humanity lives among the stars. Used to be folks thought that when we got there we'd reach out and those stars would melt away all our problems. Sadly, it doesn't work that way. No, we took them all out there with us into the dark, where they could mutate and fester. Thing is, we took the beauty too, all the splendor and majesty that we could muster. Couldn't even say how many worlds we live on now. We've always been heading for an ugly end. Might just be we found ourselves a new beginning.
All right, we're back. So, when we were starting this in our little session 0, we hinted a bit at the beginning location. We saw brilliant green and blue gem in the distance, in this void. Our camera zoomed in, revealed it to be the Earth, but not the Earth that we knew. An Earth of the future, a little bit darker. The atmosphere not quite as bright, but surrounded in lights, both on its surface and in orbit around it. One of the views we saw as our camera passed through this void was Luna itself, sparkling, lit up like a Christmas tree almost. It was extremely populated, obviously so as our camera moves past it. The richest of the 15 nations of Earth. But that's not where our camera stops. Our camera keeps going past that, towards Earth, and lands in orbit at a not run down but well used space station, having long sat in a stable orbit high above Earth. Our camera passed through those decks, bulkheads, passing by many travelers on their way to other journeys, cargo crews and officers of various navies and agents of megacorps, just people on a trip. And eventually it found itself, the camera that is, in a small bar here in the station. A camera passes through this meager crowd here in this almost forgotten corner of the space station, and revealed the group before us at a table. Having just spoken with the bartender, a very tall gentleman with dreadlocks down to his shoulders, who had offered you a drink. You were interrupted by another gentleman who stepped in, not quite as tall, neat beard, well-dressed, three-piece suit, black and blue in color, and he spoke up. Right, they're on a job for me. Let's get him all a drink, shall we? And you can see he pays a credit chit and sits down 4 of the local ale. Right here, it's made on the station. Something probably served only by a few of the small bars here on this station, which I'm not going to say the name of yet. We'll get to that. But the glasses are moved in your direction. He sits down one for himself and sits down at this small table with the 4 of you. Kind of scooting in, moving a chair over, sitting there, his tall frame obviously has these gaunt features and such that show a life lived and far less than 1G. Right, well, seems I've got the details here for you, if everything's in order on your end. You're gonna be wanting these tickets in. This is the final say now. Moves over the data pad. You can keep your pad as well.
I think it's safe to say we're all in.
Yeah, we can handle it.
Right,
Yeah, it was
passage
nothing.
is right there for the 4 of you. So do you take the pad? Do you guys...
Yeah, I'll reach out and grab it.
Okay.
I slap my palm on it and
shocks
slide
you.
it towards me.
Okay. It beeps a little bit when you do.
Poison.
You're not poisoned, but it beeps a little bit when
First
you do,
roll.
and you can. It's kind of like a noise, like it canceled something. And you look at it, and it's basically looking for essentially like a thumbprint or something to actually sign the contract or whatever for the tickets, for the actual ticket part.
Okay.
It's all right, eh? All rangeful. Remember, don't talk to nobody about where you're going.
Obviously.
So, details in. But first, a drink. And he
I think that's
holds up
more.
the drink and roast.
Salute.
All right. Cheers. Takes the drink. He empties about half of it. Sits it down. Wipes his neat beard. Straightens himself out a bit. Ryan. And looks over to the bartender who just says, "Okay," and walks to the door and goes, "All right, everybody, we closing now. Time's up. Yeah. Last drinks are free. Go on then." The few patrons that were in there kind of look confused and start standing up. Yeah, you can finish it up. Go ahead, hurry. Yep, down it goes. All right. And as they close the door, or as they walk out the door, he closes it behind them. It's not a swinging door; it's like a ceiling door, but he has to hit a button for it to actually close, as opposed to it standing open for business all the time. Okay, I go in the back and clean up now, I guess. And he walks around behind. It's just you now in here. You and your contact. Right, so I guess I can get to disclosing the details, but first I'm a bit curious. How did you wind up getting into this mess? Looking to do some work with the likes of me? What do you say to that?
I'll chuckle under my breath for sure. And just kind of look at the others.
We all want to be out here doing things, you know. So if this is what it takes, we'll do what needs to be done.
All right, my man. It's not the worst answer I've ever heard.
Job's a job, right?
That it is. Right then. Well, his layout. And he pulls another data pad out and starts bringing up a list of items. And you all kind of look at each other. The viewer, if you would, of the camera would hear the audio fade from his voice explaining some of the simple details in the beginning, talking about his list and of items that needs to go through, and would cut to close shots of each of you who are now making eye contact with one another, looking back and forth between him. This is where it really begins. When we cut back in a fade to Luna. It's been a while since this time period. It's an undisclosed period of time previous, but it's at least 4 months, but perhaps a bit more than 4 months. In another bar. This one, very different. Quite crowded. A beautiful place, in fact. It's almost like a tiki bar with lush greenery everywhere and a holographic ceiling that has birds flying in it and stuff that's very similar to what you would see at like Hope's Landing, but here there's like a constant aurora that dances to the somewhat light electronic music that plays in the background of the space the whole time. The lights are fairly low. There's a sign in the corner that just reads Mary Baron Lounge. And we see there in the bar Isaac, and Paris. Sitting at a table with one another. Our camera follows a waiter to the table. There you go. Sits down, 2 drinks, waves, and walks away. The camera stays with you two. What do you do?
Isaac, people deserve to be heard. Mars, the Belt, people everywhere are just getting by. They make everything look so great in the vid, so high tech and modern, but people are really struggling. They have to work so hard. They know so damn much about every little detail of their lives just to breathe, just to survive. It's like, of course those Belter kids were sick. You can only live on yeast patties for so long. But being back here on Luna, things just seem so clean and so safe. Look, I'm heading back out tomorrow. My boss is gonna kill me, but I heard about this group on Jupiter. I just have to talk to them. You should come with me.
I'm with you. This is some fucked up shit. I kind of always knew what they were doing, but actually kind of seeing it with your own eyes is really fucked up, right?
It's gonna be amazing. It's so much to see out there.
I can't stop now, right? Left Earth, came to Luna.
Yeah.
This is yeah, fuck this. Let's go. I'm down. Let's leave. I'm done.
I can get another ticket. Let's do it.
All right. I think that from there we will cut forward in time a bit. Now 4 months exactly, almost, to the previous date aboard that station in orbit. We see Paris once more, now with Isaac somewhere else, undisclosed, perhaps in the Belt, perhaps further in some station or some quarters on a ship in transit.
Yeah, that one.
But we don't know. But it's that one because you just said it. But what the viewer doesn't know.
We don't know.
Oh, that was good.
But anyway, and Paris pulls up on their comm unit now that they are within range of mostly real-time communication. A call. Who are you calling, Paris?
I'm calling Lean, my good friend, pen pal.
All right.
Bestie.
Lean, the comm unit, wherever you may be, may choose, is chiming with an incoming call.
Well, if you cut to Lean, she's also in a bar. She is this like, I'm sorry, I just want to clarify really fast. This can be a personal comm unit?
It can be either a personal comm unit, like a handheld, or it can be a terminal unit.
You see Lean basically...
It's a vid call, though.
Orchestrating a small group of people in a bar, kind of like working the room, basically. Kind of making people laugh, buying drinks. People are having a good time. But I get this call, and I will excuse myself and step aside, because of course I'm going to take a call from P-Funk.
P-Funk.
I'm going to answer it.
That was one
P-Funk,
time.
how you doing?
Lean, hey! It's been a while.
I know, I haven't heard from you in a minute.
Oh my god, I just can't wait to tell you about everything.
How's
it's
the
so
reporter
exciting
life?
out here. Oh, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
I bet.
Everything's just so alive out here.
Yeah, you can say that.
Listen,
Still hasn't the glow hasn't worn off yet, I guess.
no, it's like everything's there's just opportunity everywhere. Everyone's working hard and building new things and better things. It's incredible.
It really,
Look,
honestly,
we've
it
been
really
talking
is.
about this a while. Isaac and I are coming there. We're coming, and you don't have to come with us.
You're
but
not
to hear us out face to face.
You're not stationed anymore.
No, we're on
Or
a
you're
ship.
not doing your
We're on
job?
the way. We're on the way.
Wait. All right. What are you guys doing? What are you coming out here for?
Look. That you mentioned that ship share. We have to do something with it.
Yeah, I've got six months, maybe a little bit more before I can't use this at all. And
you mentioned that guy. Did you call him? Call him.
Pilot?
The guy, the pilot. Yeah.
Bailey?
We're gonna be there. We're gonna be there in a
You're
week.
coming here now. Oh,
Yeah,
how
we
long?
are coming. Look.
Oh shit! Let me call
You just
Bailey.
you have to listen to
All right,
us.
we've
You have
seen
to
a
listen
pilot.
to us.
All right. Maybe.
I know you had some
maybe
legal. I know you had some legal problems, and
Yeah.
you gotta shake that off. You gotta it's gonna be an adventure. Let's do this.
Agreed. That's exactly what I've been thinking lately. I was gonna tell you. I can't get a CL though. I cannot find a CL. I guess with all of our heads together, we can figure it out.
Maybe.
Let me call Bailey.
We gotta try.
Let me call Bailey. I'm down.
I'm quitting my job, and let's do this thing.
Fuck that job. Fuck yeah. You and Isaac get out here. I'm calling Bailey. I'm gonna get him out here. We're gonna figure something out.
All right.
Alright.
See you in a week.
With that, we will flash forward to where? You must tell me now where we are. As we meet Bailey with the news.
I don't know where we are. Where are we?
I think we're at Lean's Lean 2. That was my fantasy. So we're there now. And
So where's your current home, Lean? Where are you staying
Well, I'm
at this
kind of,
point before you have a ship or anything?
Yeah, I was living on a ship before, and I kind of just they dropped me off at the last station they were docked at. Kind of just got off.
Okay, so at this
Been
point,
floating there.
how far out in the system are you?
Look, you still
Took
in the
y'all a
belt.
week. Yeah. On the belt, you think? Yeah, it'll probably be on the belt.
I mean, you've more or less been based in the belt, right?
Doing runs out there in the merchant ship. But yeah, I would say the belt makes sense. If there's
Okay. It'd probably be a little bit more than a week
station.
then, but yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying
If
we're
there's a
in
populated
there's plenty
station,
of-
I should kind of hang out there.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we will then cut to a period of time later. This is, let's say, 2 months later total after you've already talked with Bailey. You called them and begin to get them set up. This is the first time. Then we'll meet them here. I'm pulling up the stations I have in the belt. Hold on.
Station.
Oh, the Vesta Station.
Okay.
Here at Vesta Station, a fairly rundown station inside the interior of an asteroid, but there are parts of it that are well maintained. It is mostly run by a couple of corporations, so it's essentially almost entirely private. So basically everybody that works, or basically everybody that lives on the station, works for those companies, but there are a few passengers that pass through. So if you're out here like staying for a few weeks or whatever, it's usually kind of like a you have to like say ahead how long you're going to be staying, basically, right? So I'm gonna rent a room for 2 weeks here, and then I'll be leaving, that kind of a thing. So you would have, at this point, probably rented a room for a week or a couple of days or something of that nature. And then there would be a chime at the door. The interior of your quarters here would be pretty nice, I would say, in terms of size. It's just everything's like old, right? Not poorly maintained, but just old. But there's a chime at your door.
I'll answer that chime.
All right. I'll say that you and Paris are in here having a conversation, probably in like your double room or something like that. But the door chimes. You walk up to it and open it up, and on the other side you see your contact, the person you've been calling and is supposed to help you out, Bailey.
Bailey! I hug him.
What up, party girl?
Where are we going first? Where are we getting drunk first?
Your station, you tell me.
Oh, that's right. It'll be like old times. This is gonna be great. I'm so stoked to see you. Oh, come on in. You know.
Hey there, Bailey. I'm Paris.
Paris.
I've heard a lot about you.
A pleasure to meet you, miss. Paris?
Yep, that's me.
This is our friend
So a
Isaac.
drink then?
Good to meet you again.
Isaac, I know. Pleasure to see you again.
I guess I might have known that already. We were talking about Bailey. Yeah, you know Isaac. Hey, it's Isaac.
All right, enough with the introductions.
Yeah.
Bailey, what? You said you had some news?
I start pouring some drinks.
Yes. Lean over here, talked to me, said she was looking for a pilot and a way to get a CL. And I am the pilot and might have a way to get a CL.
I knew I
Wow.
could count on you, Bailey.
Wow, that's amazing. What do we do?
Well, we gotta go meet a guy named Wilhelm. Nice beard
Well,
and
sounds
three-piece suit.
distinguished.
Three-piece suit, all right.
He's got a job for us. Details I'm not sure right now, but he's solid. A little shady,
All
but
right,
solid.
upstanding gentleman. Oh, okay,
Little shady.
that's fine.
Hey, job's a job. If it gets us that CL, I don't see how. This is literally like
It's incredible.
we only have months left. You understand? I gotta get these creds spent, and if I don't get a CL, it's fucking useless. So, best way to get
Where
a
we
ship.
meet him?
Eternity Station. It's Earth orbit, but
It's gonna be a
should
bit.
be easy to get to.
Distinctly look at us. Okay, let's find a shuttle.
By the time you would arrive,
Glad to get off this station.
by the time you leave, we cut from there. But by the time you arrive at Eternity Station in Earth orbit, it is now where we were before. It has been 6 months now since you first received your subsidiary credit from your corporate of work to potentially purchase, to have an opportunity to be one of the few that own a deep space vessel here in the Sol system. It's a auspicious opportunity, and one that up until very recently you thought might pass you by. But we cut back forward now to the station, Eternity Station, in that bar now closed off with the four of you at a table. Each of you half a mug or less or more, depending on how much you drink, of ale in front of you as Wilhelm begins to lay in the details. Right, so as a package we need picked up. No questions about where it came from, who it belongs to, none of that. It's just a delivery. It's just that delivery needs to go around the security. Are we understood? Needs to get to Ganymede, which is convenient for you because that's the damn place you can get your CL. So, here's the situation. Here's the location. And he pulls up what looks to be a soul map. Basically a pretty simple star chart. And zooms in automatically by typing in a few coordinates. It snaps to an area in the belt near Mars, not too far away from Mars, to a small asteroid. Yeah, I know it's nothing there, right? But there's something there. So, here's the thing. When you're gonna look at this thing, you just need to know that it's you shouldn't open it, nothing like that, right? It's about like, I'm gonna say about 120 kilos, and pretty heavy. So be careful when moving around and all that. You'll know it because it looks like this. And he pulls up a render of it, not an actual picture of the thing, but it's like an obvious render of the type of crate that it is. Yeah, this isn't the actual one. This is just what they look like, right? Shows it to you. It is a like a light gray color with red corners, and across the top it reads Sullebeck Industries. Again, no questions, right? It starts now.
Oh, damn. We could ask questions before this.
I know, fuck. Should have warned us there, guy.
Too late. But
Sullebeck. Do I know Sullebeck? Do we know Sullebeck?
The answer to that is, I have said stuff about them before. Yeah, yes. There was a news report last time.
Yeah, they were on the news. They're like one of the main, like one of the big.
It was hard to hear what you were just saying. What was that, Venom?
They're one of the big corps, right? Like everyone would have.
Yeah, they're one of the. Yeah, they're a huge corp.
They claimed FTL tech, but it's unverifiable. Like they're that big. They're like they're Tesla.
They're primarily located in the Jovian system. There are multiple stations in the Jovian system, including Ganymede Harbor / Prospera Station, which is the place that you would even go to actually get your CL and potentially buy a ship as part of the reward that he's laying out here for you, which I'll talk about.
Is
in more
that the
detail.
delivery point?
So that's what I'm getting into. So you see here, delivery, right, will be brought to Ganymede Harbor. Now, there's a contact on Prospera Station. If you can get in touch with him, you can meet with him on Prospera. What you're not to do is bring us through security on either end. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, we'll have to figure out a way in then.
And there's security on this asteroid.
On the asteroid that you're getting it from, I see. The package you're picking up is, well, let's just say it's, lightly guarded. They might not be too interested in you picking up the package, but you know, if they end up somewhere else, it's fine with me. How you get it is up to you. But I will say it should be
dead drop situation.
Well, so here's the thing. It kind of looks around. It is. Just not for us.
Okay, that makes sense.
Anyway, so then, we all sorted. Here's the contact information. It gives you the location and basically a number to call, but no name for the contact. Just like a contact ID. They would be on Prospera Station, which is across the rail from Ganymede Harbor. There are two big space stations that are in orbit of Ganymede. You've all probably heard of those locations because it's the biggest city in the Jovian system, basically, the whole thing. But I don't know how much you would know about it other than just what you've heard, like a little bit. So, a moment goes by as you kind of look over all the details on the pad. The information on the asteroid you can see. There's nothing there, it's just like an empty rock on the map, the chart. I'll show you. There's something there.
What about a ship?
We'll get you a passage out to Mars. You can figure out the rest, can't you?
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I'll assure you that the reward will be worth it. I mean, how many of these you dished out every year, eh? And he pulls out his own little CL cert that you can see. It wouldn't matter anyway. It's like linked to him. But
Nope.
it's not just like a ticket you can hold. Be like, oh, now I have it. Ha ha ha. But how many of these are given out every year, right? If I got one, you know I can get you one. Well, it's not really me, but I assure you that the contact that has handed me this opportunity to pass along to someone such as yourselves is more than capable of arranging for one of those CLs any damn time they want. And they've gone to the trouble of giving you a 60% discount at any of the shipyards in Ganymede Harbor.
Alright.
So, there's
That
millions
sounds
of credits,
incredible.
right?
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll pick up your box.
Right, just remember you never met me, and we don't know each other unless we, of course, meet in the future and I need you to do some more work. Then we know each other. But right now we don't know each other. Oh, who are you? Oh.
Stranger.
Instant amnesia.
Dina finishes his drink, sits it down, stands up, walks over to the bar and dings the little bell on the side, and the guy, a few seconds later, comes back from around the side. Oh, okay, now I can open back up my own damn bar. And Wilhelm looks at him. Easy, man. It's all right. And sees he pays him with a data chip. You don't see how much, but he looks down at his register and smiles up. Hey, you want to stay for longer?
Yeah, can I get some cheesecake?
We get you all the cheesecake.
Oh yeah,
Sounds great.
cheesecake.
What is cheesecake?
Nice cheesecake.
But Wilhelm just kind of shakes his
Earth
head
delicacy.
and walks out of the door that he opens as he passes up to it, slides open. I guess we open for business. Yeah, I'll get you food if you want. Yeah.
I'll definitely order a drink.
Yeah, let's get some drinks.
Yeah, on me.
Fine, but
Celebrate our new.
we gotta
new
get
journey.
going. I'm raring to go.
Right now? Okay.
Well, you'll
All
see.
right.
You have
Drink
tickets
fast,
that
go.
leave. You have tickets that leave from Eternity Station to Mars, and they don't leave until tomorrow. So you can do whatever you want until then.
All right, drink up.
Do we want to talk
Night
about
cap it
it?
is.
Because I, for one, have no idea how the fuck we're gonna pull this off.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Bailey, for putting this together. This is really incredible. But yeah, I wish we knew more about what the hell.
80 was an understatement.
Well,
Yeah, you said it was a gentleman.
I said, I think I said charming, but
That three-piece suit has seen better days.
I mean, most of the shit out here has anyway, so.
But yeah, I
Hopefully
guess we
figure
gotta
out
get to Mars first and see
what we're
kind of ship
doing
we can
before we get to Mars.
something small, like doesn't have much of a
Well, we just gotta get to Ganymede, right?
slide in there.
Because we
Yeah,
have a,
from-
we have a,
From Mars to Ganymede.
yeah, we just gotta
with
hitch a
pit stop.
ride.
But your
I don't
turn
think
in
they
is you have to turn it in
rise.
at Ganymede.
Maybe we can rent a
You
ship.
have to
Wait,
get
no,
it
it's
in the
on
belt.
Mars?
No, it's in the belt.
Yeah, it's like on a
You have a
it's like
ticket
on
to
a random
Mars.
asteroid.
You have a ticket to
And we have
Mars.
to get from
the thing you wanna
Mars
get
to the
is-
asteroid belt.
Yes, to the thing in the asteroid belt, which
And then
is
to Ganymede.
somewhat close
then
to
on to
Mars, and then to
Ganymede.
Ganymede. Yeah, that's where you turn it in.
How the fuck are we gonna?
We gotta rent a
ship.
ship.
Gotta rent.
I
Rent
got
a ship.
1,600 credits.
Yeah, I've
I
got
got some
1,000.
money.
I
We
don't
can-
know
We
what
can take a
renting
loan
a
if we need
ship is
to.
like,
God,
but
such is our future.
it's either that or steal one.
Yeah, I
Easy
think
there.
that's probably the
Pirate.
easiest.
I mean, at this point,
I
We
don't
just
think
steal.
it's not that kind of system. This
Would
is
be-
this is
would be
expanse,
cheaper.
not Star Wars.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
There's not,
We
you
just
can't
gotta get- we just gotta
steal
get a
someone's
CL,
space
don't we?
buggy. Oh,
Somebody else's CL. Like we get that guy's CL and we can get his ship. That's how the rules go, right?
Yeah.
Linked. We need the car keys. We need the ship keys.
I'm
gonna be
the
tough. It's
advisor.
gonna be like we're gonna have to rent some shitter and get out there. We might have to go low budget for a while, but we'll make it work. We're capable people, right?
I have all the faith in us. Tonight, we drink. And I'll
Alright.
slam mine.
So it's obvious that the bartender has been paid well to have closed the shop like that or whatever by Wilhelm, and probably to keep his mouth shut about anything he might have heard. And so the bartender continues to serve you not expensive alcohol. He basically doesn't take orders. He just keeps giving you the same ale, but he basically endless. He keeps filling it up until you stop ordering it. So you can drink as much as you want, and he'll bring you like a meal for free as well,
Fuck yes.
like a pretty big meal.
I am ravenous and I tear that shit up.
a
Like
drink,
Goku.
meal, another drink, and then probably to bed.
I play games. Is there like
Yeah,
a
not bad
pool
already.
or billiards equivalent?
In this place, this is not like a big enough place for that. It's like a really small like corner of the station, but there are a couple of like arcade machines basically in the back, if you want to think of them like that, like essentially built into the wall, like little, like think of like video poker machines, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? It's like that. So there's like gambling and stuff on it, like little slots and
I
stuff.
might go try and find a place with pool tables.
Okay, I mean you can definitely find people playing pool in like one of the larger bars. It's just this is like a shithole
We don't have to
corner.
RP that. I'll just say that my character does that through the night.
Sure.
And then I get back super fucking late. And I also give Bailey a real hard time for leaving early. Boo,
Okay.
Bailey, boo! What are you doing to me? Come on, let's just go play some pool.
All right, one game.
All right, Bailey's back. And
And
that
Bailey
happens the other
and
night.
Bailey and you go out and play pool. Since you don't want to role play through it, let's just go ahead and make a roll.
Okay.
I'll say that'll be a 2-part task chain for carouse. Average
Hey.
difficulty.
Skill.
I would say the first person to start the chain should be Lean, because they're the one being like, "Come on, we're playing pool."
You said average, right?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
8 difficulty. Oh
Ew,
shit.
what the fuck?
Lame.
I
So
know. What the
Lean's
hell?
lost her edge.
Click the
Did I do it
chain /
wrong?
assisted roll on that, and then I don't know, did you? And then
it's so low.
but yeah, do you see Psycho? Click the chain/assisted roll button
experience.
on that in the chat and roll your corrals.
Used to fucking Roman board, just knock him out of the park every time.
True.
Oh my god, that's a 0 at least. Or effective 0, I mean.
Are you guys rolling your stat with it?
I use charm.
I was gonna say it could be like charm, or I would allow charm, luck, or I think those are the only two I'd actually allow. Charm and luck in this particular instance.
I didn't do a modifier. I have a +1 for charm.
Okay, so you would have been a -2. All right. Well, Lean and Bailey play pool long through the night, much longer than Bailey meant to do. They both have a few drinks while playing. They get into a little bit of gambling with a few other patrons. Some words are had. A drink was thrown in Bailey's face. And you're gonna lose a few credits. So roll me 2d6 each. Okay. You lose. So you don't lose a lot, at least. But 20 credits and 60 credits.
Yeah.
Just that number times 10.
Thank God I have a little bit of money left.
Worth it.
Yeah, it was. That was fucking great.
Okay. But yeah, we don't have to role play through that, but that's the results of the night. Traveler's great about that kind of stuff. You can just like move through downtime things very quickly like that if you want to, as well as leave. But anyway, so we move on from there. The next morning comes. Your ticket is basically set to leave at around like 11 a.m. So you would probably wake up with an alarm at sometime like 9 in the morning or whatever to start getting ready to leave. But you two are hungover. The rest of you are fine.
Ugh. Time
Good
is...
night, guys.
Oh yeah. Hang on, let me piece it together. Felt like it was good. Give me a minute.
Bailey's got on like aviator shades.
Can't see his eyes.
Yeah, it's good.
Put on my kind of like, it's like almost like a, because you call it a battle jacket maybe, but like a free
bomber
merchant
jacket.
style bomber jacket, right? It's not like a leather bomber though. It's more just like
Battle jacket.
well, yeah, like in the punk rock scene, it's got, because there's patches and there's like tears in it, and it's definitely seen better days. You can tell I've worn it for a very long time, and it's a little
okay.
oversized. It looks bulky on me, and the shoulders are kind of big.
Like a cyberpunk jacket.
Yeah, but definitely like worn, and
yeah.
like earth tones, with
Gotcha.
some patches to bands that you've probably never heard of, or can't read because it's like it looks like, I don't know, cracked paint.
I was gonna say it's one of those metal band names where the text is so hard to read that you'll never be able to figure out what the name is.
Yeah, it's like
it's all thorns.
Cracks in a wood panel. Yeah. Again, but not many, just a few, and then like a kind of a white tank top and oversized boots, unlaced, with some cargo pants on. But I'll join the rest of the group slowly, kind of like rubbing my eyes, looking pretty haggard, maybe a black eye.
All right. Oh, what are the rest of you doing here in the morning as you gather? I would say probably in the like general galley area near the Habs here at the station. Right, it's like I would say it's essentially a small cafe serving basic and coffees and teas and a few kind of breakfast and lunch items, sandwiches and things like that, mostly made from like reconstituted proteins and stuff, but there's like decent food here. It's a little bit expensive, but it's kind of like what you expect, like airport stuff, right? But yeah,
I would have been up early. I'm there sitting having coffee and breakfast while sitting on my somewhat oversized trunk that I travel with because I have so much random shit. So I'm kind of sitting on the trunk and eating breakfast as people arrive.
all right, that makes sense. What are the rest of you doing?
Shuffle in and grab a cup of basic, a cup of tea, a cup of water, and like awkwardly set it on the table that Paris is at. Okay.
All right.
This is it. Are you ready?
Oh yeah. Hang on, let me go. I'm still waking up. I have like a backpack slung over my shoulder with all my stuff in it.
Awesome. I was looking at the picture Psycho just sent me, or sent us all, of the jacket.
Oh, that's what you're wearing? Nice.
It's his
Yeah,
jacket,
Bailey's wearing a somewhat newer, nice suit, and then like a leather aviator's style bomber jacket with his shades. Also sporting a large like duffel bag kind of backpack.
Hey there, stud. Have a good night.
There he is.
I think so.
She's got to see Isaac.
Not yet.
This morning? No.
I walk in and go grab 2 cups of coffee and sit
That whole
down
physic.
with one in each hand. What's up? What's up, guys?
Hey,
Nothing,
welcome
just
to the
waiting.
party. You got our tickets? Where's our tickets? What time are we leaving?
Boarding starts in like an
who's got
hour.
the tickets?
In an hour.
Shit.
Okay.
I'm ready. I think I'm ready. I'm ready to get off this
You ready to
station.
say goodbye to this place?
Yeah, we've definitely overstayed our welcome, I think, as I look at Bailey.
At that moment, there's like a group of like 3 people that walk by at the other side of the galley area, and like one of them kind of looks over at Bailey and just sort of like mean mugs him a little bit, gives him the stink eye, and the rest of them just kind of keep going past.
I turn and I stick on
Made some friends last night, I guess.
You should
Yeah,
see
just a
the
couple of
other guy.
ladies.
Oh, jeez, I almost forgot. I jump up and run into a gift shop and come back a little bit later with a souvenir, like a postcard or something of the station.
Okay, also you could find I mean, you're in a station above Earth. This is one of the older stations that's still operational in high Earth orbit, so you could probably find like some historical plaques or like the equivalent of like a snow globe kind of a thing, but like sprinkly stars in it, and like the station floating on like a little hook with like Earth kind of in the background sort of thing. Like it goes around like a music box, right? You can, like a ballerina on a music box instead of a little globe.
Look, I know it's silly, but I just like to get mementos wherever I go, just to remember my travels.
That's
and
adorable,
then I
Paris.
pop open my chest. It's got like a shelf of like knickknacks, and
Place
it's
it in
literally filled. It's literally filled with like ridiculous adventuring gear, like brand new, untouched, just
Like a rope and shit.
ropes
Wrapped in plastic and shit.
grappling hooks, and like
Oh
I don't
my
know what else I
God.
got, like binoculars and like all sorts of
Lean loses it.
A climbing kit, a distress
Lean
flare, duct
absolutely
tape.
loses it. A giant first aid kit with like
Yeah, it's like
all
brand
kinds of shit in
Viking
it.
boots, they're not broken in, a pocket saw, like a bunch of just survival shit.
That's
I'm just
so
like,
funny.
all right, ready to go.
Lean just cracks up in the booth here.
Tucks the snow globe in
I
there.
know it's a little silly. I went to the I went to the store and just like let them know that we might be coming out of here, and they just guy hooked me up.
The rope.
Hey, you know, you never know.
Oh, I know a couple of uses for rope.
All right, cowboy, let's behave.
I think we got a shuttle to catch. Let's get it.
All right,
So yeah,
they gonna let you fly this thing or what?
Not this one.
Why not? The best
Not
damn
this
pilot
one.
I know.
Because we're paying
the
to
only
be
pilot
on it.
you know.
This guy's got nothing on you. Come on.
The tickets say nothing. I'm flying.
All right, we board up.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
What
Um,
is the
so-
shuttle like?
Before too long, you hear over the comms, all passengers for flight 7145, and that's your flight number or whatever.
It's light before us.
Please report to gate 4, and then you go to the gate. The boarding process is probably about 45 minutes or so of getting on board. You're kind of in the middle of it. Your ticket, though, as you each, by the way, so just so you know, you can do this with other forms of data and stuff too. It's like near field, like NFC style with phones. You can basically like put the ticket up thing and be like, here it is, and pass it to his terminal by tapping them together and hitting the right function, like I'll receive, I'll send, and you touch them. So anyway, so you can send the tickets to each other, so each of you have your ticket on your little terminal device. I mean, that's literally what we do today, except for the NFC part, right? But like, you know, you go up to the terminal with your phone to get on your boarding pass and stuff. So you each have your ticket. You look down and you can see the border on the identification thing is colored like a bright blue color, kind of the same color that borders your character sheet in the tabletop here. And you're like, oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that or whatever for some of you, and then some of the others may have seen it. It's up to you, but it denotes a first class ticket, first class accommodations aboard a passenger liner. You look out here past the ports to your left that extend out in the essentially the station. You're going to have to move into an area of the airlock now, so you're basically on a ring that's spinning, and on each of those, situated alongside those rings, is the ship, who is again kind of nose to ring spinning, right? If that makes sense. So actually I have little things here. Useful.
Bring out the diagrams.
The diagrams, not exactly, but close.
Model.
Yeah,
Even better.
3D printed model.
Ooh, fancy.
So basically you have the station here, right?
Ooh.
Which is spinning like
joking.
this. I wasn't. And then
I see that.
you have and this is just a small one, the liner up against the side here, right? And so it spins along with it.
Cool.
And so as you board, you basically have to climb down into, or go in, not climb down, but you go in like an elevator basically that lowers you down through the nose docking tube into the top of the liner as you move into the space. You then have a brief period of what's not actually the nose on this one. This liner is weird. I'll get to explain it in a moment, but the it's the top, kind of like imagine like there's a disc, and then that disc has a tube that sits on top of it. And so as you move into this, you have gravity as you're moving down because the whole assembly is being spun, right? And you step in, but as you do, you notice all of the rooms are turned at a kind of a weird angle as you move into the space, and the floor kind of curves up in a strange way as you move in. You're kind of there's multiple stewards along the path ushering other passengers in. There's quite a few people that are boarding along with you. Total, it looks like there's probably about 150 or so people. The ship itself has a total of 30 large, normal staterooms. There are 20 cryo tubes here that you can see as you walk past kind of the entrance, and then there is an additional 5 first class accommodations, 4 of which are occupied by you. The ship is named, and you can see its name as you go walk into the interior of it. It's plastered on the front wall there, basically. Where is it at? The Astral Light. It is a Providence class passenger liner, around 700 to 1,000 ton vessel. Not the biggest, but not the smallest. You do note that it has a front spinning section that can articulate both this way and this way depending on its orientation with its thrust section. It can also change the orientation of the individual cabins and corridors within what you might call a saucer section, similar to like in Star Trek or something. It can change the orientation within there to either swing this way or swing the other way if necessary, depending on the situation. So it can swing them one way during linear thrust and then swing them the other way and spin it up during drift. Making for comfortable accommodations the entire journey at 1 full G.
And you said our tickets indicate first class.
That's not bad. It's the first time for me.
Yeah, I've never. I mean, I've spent some money, but.
So you're stepping
on something like this.
You step into they're very expensive tickets, you would note, normally. It's the kind of thing that it's like you either pay a lot of money to get it or you have some kind of connection that gets you that, right? You will note as you...
This isn't so shady after all.
You do note that as you walk into the interior that the crew here, I would say that this is probably immediately noticed by Bailey. The crew is mostly Jovian. You can hear that in some of the accents and stuff, which I'll let Bailey decide what that is. But so far I've been doing Jovians with mostly a Cockney kind of a thing, but it doesn't really matter.
I can't do Cockney.
Well, you can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter. They're your people right now. Anyway, so the where was I? Oh yeah. So as you step into the interior and hear some of them talk, you can tell most of the crew's Jovian, and you can see that the ship itself, the Providence class passenger liner, while it is a standardized model of ship, as you pass by one of the plaques where its name is plastered underneath it, you can see assembled at Ganymede Harbor shipyards. One of the largest shipyards. Ganymede Harbor. It's assembled at Ganymede Harbor shipyards. This is a ship that was built in where you're technically going. It is the biggest of the shipyards, though, in the solar system now. Step into the interior. You're ushered in by these many stewards. They show you to your cabins, your first class accommodations. As they do so, a couple of them come up to you and sort of each pass you like a small packet, like a little box that you can see. It's not closed topped. It's like just kind of nicely tucked in and wrapped. And each there's like things wrapped, like different food items wrapped in cloth, multiple bulbs of different drinks and stuff. One of the this gentleman is very, very tall, typical of somebody that's lived most of their life in orbit. A like African American kind of accent and demeanor and everything about him and complexion that you might associate with like the what we would think of today like American accent, as well as African descent. He looks at you. He's got a very, very neat mustache. This is for each of you. These are free. You'll be able to enjoy this in your cabin. We won't be able to start service for another couple of hours until we really get underway. We don't do service until we bring up the spin on the disc, but if there's anything that you would like to order before that point, you can place your orders now and we'll get it to you before that time. This is only a service available to the first class cabins, so bear in mind we can't do this at all times, so not all things are available, but if there are any drinks or food that you would care to have brought to your cabin, you may ask. There are, of course, 10 drinks included per day on the trip, as well as 3 meals included per day on the trip. But if there's anything else you'd like, let us know. We can also bring entertainment to your cabin as well. If there's anything that you would care to watch, there are the vid screens, of course, and you have access to all of the feeds there. So by all means, I have to ask, your name on your ticket here. It says your name is and she leans in and looks at the ticket, like looks closely at it. It says your name is Lean Wigram, and by note here, you're coming through Eternity Station, but you're not related to Luke Wigram, right?
No, there's no relation there.
Okay, I had to ask. In the Earth area, you gotta ask. Anyway, but yeah. So if you're interested in anything, just you can hit this button here, and she shows you on the interior of your cabin. There's like a little button to basically chime for an order. But again, we won't be able to bring service to your cabin until after we've brought up spin. So if there's anything you'd like to order, please do so now. And yeah.
Yes, I'll put on airs and say, I will take all 10 of the drinks for today, please, and a meal.
How about a champagne? Why don't we start with that?
Yes.
Certainly.
All 10 of them should be champagnes. I agree. 10 bottles of champagne,
absolutely.
please.
Well, it's 10 glasses of champagne, but
That's not well. All right, I will be speaking with your supervisor.
if you'd like to purchase 10 bottles of
no,
champagne,
10
that's
glasses
certainly-
is quite all right.
Behave.
It's all right. It's quite all right. 10 glasses is more than.
And that'll
I'll
be
take
for
those.
each of you, or
Well, you said we have a 10 for.
per person.
Just the one for now, and then we'll figure it out once we're underway. Thank you.
Okay.
I
So-
would like 2 cups of coffee and
That can be
2
arranged, yes.
glasses of champagne.
Absolutely. And for you, sir?
12 glasses of champagne.
Leans over to Bailey.
Oh, just a bottle of basic and a nap.
Oh, I can't help you with the nap, sir, but I can provide a bottle of basic here. And they, like, basically right outside the quarter area, they open up one of the sliding cabinets side to side, and it's chilled, and there's basic in there. If you would like basic to fill this up, or to fill up one of the receptacles inside of your room, the units themselves dispense basic as well. But here you go.
Thank you.
Of course. Yeah, we knew that. Pull my pinky up.
And for you, miss? Leaning to Paris.
Just a champagne. I'll find the mess later.
As you wish. I'll be right back. They head away.
Thank you.
She kind of like bows curtly to you for a moment, or he bows curtly to you for a moment, and then he goes away around the corner, and you hear other passengers boarding and stuff like that. Presumably they're coming back with your orders. You're each kind of like set here in front of your cabins. The doors open. You can step inside of them if you want, or not open, sorry, closed, but they can be open. Unlocked, that's the word I'm looking for. But you can lock them and go in them with your ticket on your device as you wish.
Lean, what did he mean? Do people ask you that a lot?
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever looked into it?
Nah, it's not really that important to me.
No? Well,
I mean,
maybe I'll take a look sometime.
It's common as hell, right? Like, there's, you know how many wig rooms there are?
Well, I'll check it out.
All right, yeah, you do that. Couldn't hurt, I guess.
And here you go. They come back around the corner with another person helping them. The little cart they're kind of pulling. These will be your 10 glasses of champagne, ma'am. And starts handing them to you. We have them on a small tray here if you'd like to.
Oh, that would be useful. Thank you.
Yeah,
like that.
You can just leave the tray in your room, and we'll get that when we clean the cabin later.
Of course, yes. Appreciate it. What did you say your name was?
I forget. I did have his name written down.
My pinky is still up.
Gotten your own.
You can
name.
call me Thane.
Thane, cut it out.
Thing?
Thane.
Oh, Thane.
Thing one?
Thane.
Thane.
Things simpler.
Thane, I appreciate your service. If I require anything further, I will not hesitate to ring your bell.
He nods curtly once more. Passes the coffee to you and the champagne, and the basic's already been handed to you, so he gives the champagne to you as well. And all right, we will ask that you remain in your cabin during the initial acceleration, and during the transition to spin, all cabin doors will be temporarily locked. After the transition to spin, all cabin doors will be open up per your choice, and you may peruse the decks as you wish.
Excellent, Thane. Cheers. And I have like a glass of wine, champagne in between each finger.
Here is our entertainment schedule if you get bored after we've initiated spin, and here is the menu for the restaurant. And so you can see there's a small food court with like one real restaurant in it and a couple of like basically fast food places. The most famous of which is Cosmic Bites, which is like ubiquitous all over the solar system. That are in there you can order food from at any time. That's extra food, not the food that you get brought to your things. It's part of the tickets. And then you have a small theater, basically, that holds about 20 people or so, and it seems like that they play movies and shows and stuff on pretty much constantly, so people can kind of come in and out as they please.
Oh, Paris, do you want to see a show with me later?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Might as well enjoy all the amenities we can. I've never had the service like this.
Is Thane still around?
He walked away, but if you want, you can chime in.
I don't want that guy to listen.
You're such a joker. What are you doing? Goofing off.
What do you mean? I don't know. Something about this place. Someone bringing out the fancy in me, the bouginess. I don't know.
Well, it didn't take much.
First class.
You telling me?
Well,
you never
everybody,
on this?
cheers to the start of our big adventure.
Okay.
Hold up
Yeah.
a champagne glass. I think this is going to be the start of something incredibly beautiful.
I'll take one of Lean's glasses and just to adventure and down it.
You note that Bailey looks comfortable.
We better get buckled in for
As he
takeoff.
downs his stolen glass of champagne from Bailey. Or not from Bailey, sorry, from Lane. Bailey is the person that stole the champagne. Okay, the light above you, denoting that launch will be soon. It's basically asking people to enter their cabins, at which time the light goes off once you do and the door closes behind you. I assume all of you enter your cabins.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, it's a very comfortable
clumsily
space.
with my champagne.
It's pretty large. Not like Star Trek, quarters large, but for a fairly realistic setting, whatever that means in space opera. It's fairly large. Like it's something like you might have seen on like Babylon 5 or something along those. There's like a very small compressed apartment. There is a small place to get food, like basically a mini fridge cabinet. It's filled with water. There is basic dispenser as well as water dispenser. There's a small bathroom for you with a shower and everything. It's a very comfortable space. Much more than you would have with a normal stateroom. This is like your own space. It's got like a little area with a desk and stuff that you can sit down with almost a full wall on one side is a display as well. So it's like a big screen basically for you to watch stuff on, or you can also, the default to that screen is a view to the outside of the ship, because there are no windows in here. Basically the floor is towards the walls of the disc, right, when it spins, and they rotate depending on the cabins inside rotate depending on how they need to orient for thrust and stuff all across all of them. So some of them are on side and all that, so you have to be locked in when it's during thrust. But there's a bit of sound that happens as you can feel the gravity shift for a moment and lessen very slightly inside of the space. Also, to be clear, those would be bulbs of champagne you would be served to, not necessarily glasses, but whatever.
Gonna say, you realize there's nowhere to put these. You have to chug them all right there.
That's why I'm holding them. I'm just awkwardly holding them.
Yeah, but you have to
it's all
be
bulbs.
strapped in.
So
I didn't think this through.
a little light in your cabin lights up and encourages you to sit in either the main chair that's in your cabin or lay on the bed in your cabin, as those are crash couches for G maneuvers and stuff like that. And it says that thrust will be beginning. You feel yourself kind of go weightless for a moment as the station essentially throws you the entirety of the ship away from itself as the docking clamps are released and it continues out. You can then feel it shift a bit as one side of the ship begins to turn, port thrusters firing, and then thrust. And now you feel at full weight once more. Except oddly, there's this disorientation that happens as you did it. So the rooms themselves shifting inside, you can hear the sounds of it all, metal clunking as your cabins snap into their new place and the thrust kicks in. This is linear gravity. So as opposed to the Coriolis effect you would have encountered on the spin of the station, that's less experienced here. This feels exactly like 1G on Earth. Even if you throw like a ball around, you don't notice a Coriolis effect or anything. So it's a very comfortable space. For those of you that are used to 1G, those of you that aren't, it might be a little rough to walk around. But it continues this way for several hours as the ship continues thrust. Now let's go ahead and just take a quick, not break, but a quick downtime moment to ask each of you a few questions as we move through this time, it's going to be about 4.5 hours of pure acceleration until it then goes to light acceleration. It goes to light acceleration and then shifts slightly. And then once it goes to pure drift, it'll just be spinning. So first, after you no longer need to stay locked into your crash couch after thrust is linear and you can walk around comfortably. The light changes to where you can walk around comfortably in your quarters. You can view entertainment or whatever. I just want to get like a real quick, you don't have to roleplay it. I just want to know what each of you does for that first like couple hours.
Well, Bailey's gonna chug like half his bottle of basic and then just take a nap.
Okay. What about Lean?
I'll drink a couple of my balls of wine, store them in my jacket, and then probably sleep off the rest of it.
I'm pretty sure
there is like a fridge in there.
But no.
Okay.
I was suspecting the mini fridge, and then he went jacket.
Keep your drinks close.
Yeah, just like the bulbs that you see in The Expanse that they drink out of.
You have to like to steal one.
So I'll also sleep off the rest of my hangover with a nap.
Okay.
The dog.
I'm just going down the line here. Isaac, what do you do?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna finish drinking my coffee, and I'm gonna take a little nap as well.
Okay. And finally, Paris, what are you doing?
Paris, as a recently ex-reporter and person who gives a shit about the solar system, would watch the news. She pretty habitually watches whatever news stations they would have available to see kind of headlines.
Okay, so you're specifically going for the news. You're not like flipping through the channels. You're just like going straight to the news.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Okay. Are you looking for any specific like channels on news topics, like this is news on like general news around the system, or like the Jovian
like
system or something?
Headline news.
Okay.
General headline news. What's happening in the world?
All right. Roll me. What would this be? 1d100, please.
Here.
Ooh, 98.
98.
Alien invasion. Still angling for space Oceania campaign.
That would be like Chronicle. It's like our second or something session. We like got launched into the fucking universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like 16 quadrants away.
That's true. Oops.
Space Beyond Vesta gets attacked. In fact, colony.
All right. Okay. The screen flitters to life as you tune in to one of the feeds, pulling up a news feed. Graphics scroll across the screen, talking of all kinds of different events that are currently happening. There's a bar scrolling across the top that has like a different news story every like 2 seconds, right? And the one on the bottom as well as an anchor in the middle who says, "Good evening, I'm Alan Walker, and welcome to the Soul News Network. Today marks the 134th anniversary of the Hope's launch disaster, one of the darkest days in our history. On this day in 2378, the colony ship Hope was hijacked and set off to an unknown destination with tens of thousands of people on board. Despite our best efforts, we have never found any trace of that deep space vessel or its passengers. In honor of this tragic event, many people around the Sol system will participate in the Festival of Mourning. One tradition of this festival is to shine a light into the void of space, symbolizing the hope that we will one day find answers about the fate of the Hope's Reach project and those lost passengers. In other news, reports are coming in of a food shortage happening across Earth, with many areas experiencing a severe shortage of basic staples such as wheat, rice, and corn. Officials are urging citizens to conserve resources and ration their food until further notice. On a brighter note, the Mars Mavericks defeated the Jupiter Jammers in a thrilling game of Zero-G basketball, bringing their win streak to 3 games. The Venus Vixens also had a strong showing in their march towards the championship. Saturn Stormers, unfortunately, have not been having a good time this year, but that's the way it goes. He looks down at his little paper or screen or whatever he's looking at. You can't tell. Seems to swipe by something, looks confused by it, swipes again, looks to the side like he's like looking off camera to somebody, and then looks back. That's all for now. Stay tuned for more updates and coverage of the Festival of Mourning, and remember, together we shine a light in the darkness. I told you I wasn't interested, and it cuts off.
Weird.
All right, with that, 4 hours go by, and the light shines once more. Please enter your crash couches or whatever. You know from experience that like if you don't, it's probably not a huge deal. It's just like a safety margin. But you enter them. If you do, strap in, or if you're already in the bed, laying down, it wouldn't matter. But those of you that are awake would feel this. Those of you that are asleep probably would almost not even register, maybe barely come to consciousness as the room itself shifts along with the point of thrust, and very briefly you feel your weight lessen, and for a few moments you are weightless. Those of you that are asleep probably awaken at this moment, not uncomfortably so, but you are gently brought to a state of null grav. After waking up or not being asleep at all and just looking around and feeling it, you kind of float around your quarters if you want at this point, but the sign still says to stay in your couches or whatever, if you but obviously you can get up if you want. So you do whatever you wish. I'm not going to ask you what you do, but you can volunteer the information if you want. But you hear once more the room shifting, and then another sound and a kind of a vibration across everything. It starts as a very kind of big vibration, like everything's shaking a little bit, and then it becomes much faster, and then sort of just levels out as it hits sort of this point of resonance, and you feel yourself sink into the floor once more, now at a standard G. But this time, for those of you experienced in space, you can detect the noticeable Coriolis effect as your head feels slightly less gravity than your feet. And the lights turn off. The lights above your cabin door now denote that they can be unlocked. And a chime happens over the sound systems in your quarters. Ding, ding, ding. A voice comes over the comms there. 1 second, I'm trying to pull up my thing, but it went weird. There we go.
Alright, we have now entered into our cruise state for the next several weeks before we begin any deceleration. You may call for room service if you wish. Our entertainment schedule now begins, and we would like you to enjoy your trip here. So, if there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll go ahead and get out of your hair now, but don't forget to look at your safety packets. Thanks, folks.
And then it cuts out with another chime. You can feel the spin, as I said before. But now if you look at the screen and you set it to the default, which is again kind of like to act as though it's a window, showing you a view from outside, it does not spin. Your view doesn't like spin with the stars or anything like that. Clearly the camera or whatever from which it records is part of the central shaft, either on the front or perhaps on one of the sides. Hard to tell because the stars are so far away. You don't see Earth in the view, so it's not pointing back, but you can flip between a few different views if you want to scroll around. You can basically look front, back, and then technically all four, like up, down, left, right. If you look up, down, left, right, you will occasionally kind of see the shadow of the ring that spins depending on the angle with the sun and stuff as it hits the camera. But other than that, it's just sort of like a perfect window into space. You have literally the next 2 weeks to do whatever you want. I'm not gonna make you role play through 2 weeks, obviously. But
Day one.
Day
Gross.
1, hour 1.
Minute 1.
But I will, however, ask that. First, let me do this to set the proper mood. Okay, so the journey, of course, is a very comfortable one given the circumstances of your ticket being what it is. There's a sort of a, I would say, like a pretty interesting variety of entertainment aboard the station, or not station, sorry, the ship as well. But it's mostly just like movies or feeds and stuff. The feeds that you watch in your cabin are, of course, the same kind of stuff that you could see on any station or on Earth or whatever. They do change sort of regionally when you go from area to area, but you can kind of tune in to others depending on what you want to do. On your own ship, you can really do that, but like here, there's just a limited set that they're kind of licensed to have available. But it's pretty large because it's, meant to be like a long haul kind of passenger situation. It's like think of like an ocean liner, right? Pretty comfortable accommodations. There's like live music and stuff some evenings in the theater. There's it's like, musicians that are hired to stay on board the ship and things like that. You've probably seen some of those musicians also working as like stewards on the ship during certain like meal times. The restaurant itself is quite good, though fairly nondescript. The best food probably comes from Cosmic Bites, which is the fast food place that's on board. They're ubiquitous. They're all over the solar system. There's a lot of stuff there. There's Noodle Dogs. That's one of the places that does Noodle Dogs. So a lot of those probably eaten. It's a comfortable space. Are there any scenes that you guys want to have before I jump into interludes?
Real quick, is there a
go
way
ahead.
to good?
Oh no, you. All right.
Is there a way, like, is there an internet per se for me to research thing about lean?
There's the feed. Yeah, I mean you can get on the network and stuff depending on where you're at and what your access is. I don't think you would have like full access here to everything, but you basically have access to something very similar to the internet. Yes.
Could I try to do that? Could I try to essentially research what's his name, his kind of lineage or his history?
Luke Wigram.
Ancestry.com, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see why not. I would say that would have to be. What would that be? I mean, I would lean towards. I think I would lean towards either int or education, and I think it would probably just be investigate.
That's what I was thinking. I mean, investigate's kind of odd, but assuming it's not like laid out necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, you're not hacking. It's not going to be like electronics,
right.
comms. I think it would pretty much have to be an investigate role, and I think it would probably be education.
Yeah, and let me just roll it as is, or don't give me a difficulty.
Ask me the question you're trying to answer, and then I'll give you that.
I mean, I would basically just be trying to find, pretty easy information as far as his surviving relatives.
Okay. So you're just trying to structure a family tree together.
Yeah. Just kind of
not find out any like juicy secrets in their past or anything.
No.
Going back like 300
That's right.
years.
That's right.
Yeah, that would just be an average. That'd just be an average.
All right. I'm rolling that. Oh, 13.
Effect 5. Okay. I will say you're able to basically. It's not too difficult to find. He's a historical. He's like George Washington or something, right? Like it's.
Right.
It's a very famous historical figure. One of the few heroes of Hope's Landing that essentially birthed the nation of Luna that dominates the economics of Earth, the gem of all humanity, right? It's he's a known figure. There's documentaries about him that you see, and other people, but like, there's like all these documentaries about the Hope's Reach project, and then the Hope's Landing related to that. You kind of like end up watching some of those, going down this rabbit hole for hours, looking through everything. But you do eventually find like a family tree, I would say, and it's a complicated one, and you would have to like really narrow it down. Lean might not be
his
like
descendants would be more research, right? It would be like,
right,
they're not going to be famous.
Exactly. So I would say like you find like a family tree that leads you a ways, but it was a figure from hundreds of years ago, right? So it takes you a while to get to that point. And I would say you probably, so I was going to say if you got a success on the zero effect, that you were going to get a family tree that it was complete, but it was like complete up to like 80 years ago or something like that, right? Like 100 years ago. And like you'd have to add to that. But because you got an effect of 5, I'll say that you complete the family tree up to basically Lean's grandfather's generation.
Okay.
And additionally, you find a number of excerpts written by Luke Wigram himself in a kind of a after the fact journal that he wrote in his older age about his life and stuff. And that seems to be the best source of the actual historical information about him that you're finding, because a lot of stuff kind of blows him up as a figure. That's an interesting note that you get additionally. You kind of bookmark that to the side. But you get a list of like he's got a lot of descendants at this point, right? And you get a big list of who they would be potentially up to, like the generation of Lean's grandfather. Lean's grandfather is technically on that list, but I don't know if you know it's Lean's grandfather.
Right. What about pictures?
Well, so the list of people would also, it wouldn't just be a list of names. It would be like their IDs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because keep in mind, obviously, I went to college and I'm have a very strong education, but I'm also a reporter, so I would, probably have some of these skills. Okay.
So I would say that's absolutely in effect to kind of figure that out to a degree. It's just not a thing you're going to get in one single roll. It's like a task chain kind of a thing.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would keep working on it, just over the weeks, just to kind of seems maybe it's promising, but to kind of as a surprise to, because I could go ask Lane if she recognizes these names, but maybe I'll work a little bit harder on it.
Okay. I'll allow you in another week to make another roll.
Okay.
All right, so that's what you do largely for your first week, then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna roll first a d4 to choose one of you. Left to right. That is starting with Psycho. Okay. Psycho.
Yeah.
As Bailey, you're going to be doing an interlude. I need you to roll a d4.
Interlude?
Yes, I'll get into it. Don't worry.
Interesting.
Three. All right. Now roll me 1d3. Begin.
Jeez, huh?
Okay, so Psycho, for Bailey, you're going to be doing an interlude. You're the first person to do an interlude, so I'm going to explain a little bit about what it is. But interludes are tales that the player themselves, and so in this case Psycho, will tell in character to roleplay. So they're meant to be things to like enhance long travel scenes, reveal secrets and backstories, different things like that. And they have different types of associations to what they are, like backstory ones, for example, is one I just mentioned. There's basically different families of interludes, and then within each of those are a different type. And so that's what you just rolled on by rolling that d4 and that d3. So what you rolled is this one. I'm going to paste it to you. All right. So that's what you got. Remember, this is a story that you tell in character as Bailey. And it could be, and it's positioned in this first 2 weeks of travel here at any point. It's up to you. It's your opportunity to GM a little bit about where you're at and stuff. You understand? And you can bring any of the other people into it you want. So you can be telling that story to whoever.
I might not understand completely, but I'll say.
So the example before you start, the example that I've used for something even similar to that, is like, what, this was my grandpa's sword. He used it in the great battle of whatever it might be, and it carried our family name for years. I brought it out here to avenge, their death or something like that. Or I mean, I'm being super generic, like with a fantasy example there too, but you get the point, right? Any story you want to tell in character about anything related to that, it has to be in character to one of the others.
Character, huh?
Yeah, it has to be in character, and you have to bring one of the other characters into it. You're telling that story to somebody. You're dictating the tenets of the beginning of that conversation.
Get Fantasy's got a cutlass.
It's fair. That's fair.
It would probably be Lean coming to my cabin being like, hey, let's go get a drink. And Bailey would be looking at his phone. And basically be like, yeah, just give me a minute to finish reading this. And of course, when she shows interest in what it is I'm reading, I explain it's just a technical manual for a gun. Been trying to read up on how they work and get better with them. You know, this type of life we're planning on leading is it might go down that path where I need to use these things, so I might need to learn.
Foreboding, considering you're heading towards a job that somebody was like, might need to get rid of those guards. And you're like reading gun manuals. How does Lean react to that?
Lean will just kind of like figured you fly boys weren't much for pulling the trigger yourself, but you know, if you ever need any pointers. And I'll kind of like pull my jacket aside and you see a shouldered, holstered auto pistol. And you can just make out a high capacity magazine kind of sticking out of the end, like aftermarket almost. The pistol itself looking pretty customized with a charm hanging off the bottom of it. But it's just like a quick flash. You also see some high capacity magazines racked up, you know, in like a
Grenades.
little slots. But I'll just kind of like nod in your direction and slap you on the back and I'll just kind of basically I approve, right? Like I give you my.
All right.
Because I think you're right. You know, we don't know what to expect, and we do have to be prepared.
From there, 2 weeks goes by. You may make another investigation roll if you want. Back to how difficult do you think it is to find your grandfather as a public person, Elaine?
Grandfather?
Yeah.
I'll say he's been
Like, was he in military service?
No, I will probably say that if you do find anything, it's going to be like I don't really know what like the penal system looks like right now.
Depends on where you're at in the system and stuff. Yeah.
You'll probably find like the equivalent of a mugshot, I'm gonna say, right? Like of him being processed at some point in his life for doing something. But that might be the only thing that you pick up as far as like difficult to locate.
And what about his children, your parents?
I would say it's not impossible, given you have my grandfather's identification. But I will say that he had multiple groups of women that he would have kids with, probably. So easily lost in the shuffle.
Base tram.
Okay. So I will say with an effective 2, then you're able to discern a number of the children of that generation And so within a large list of people, there's the possibility that Lean's parents are in that list, but that you don't have all the, like before, how you had like IDs and all that stuff, like lots of information. This is more like names, like references to something that you saw somewhere, like, wait, was that his kid that was mentioned in this thing or whatever? There's nothing definitive there. It's just so fuzzy to figure out, like this far away from who that person was. You would need some kind of you would need something coming from the other direction, like some information from Lean,
Sure.
or probably like maybe if you had DNA or something, you could do something with that.
Right. All right, I'll leave it for now.
Okay. So 2 weeks have gone by. I'm gonna ask you guys a few questions. You've been in these personal quarters for 2 weeks. Have you decorated them in any way? Done anything different?
Definitely am not. I'm still living out of my backpack.
Okay. Yeah, you haven't like put
this
something in
isn't
any of the
my
drawers or anything?
Nah, you can see trash kind of building up. I've also like flipped over the like do not like come in thing on my room, so like room service hasn't touched my room this whole time, and you can start to see that, especially after 2 weeks.
Right. I mean, they will come by and like,
yeah, I tell them to go away.
To like be like, oh, we're here to pick up the trash or whatever, and
I say no,
and then you can like, they're not coming in, they're like chiming, and they'll be like, oh yeah, do you have trash pickup or whatever, and so you can give them like
yeah, I'm sure
things
I'll
or something.
accrue some like bags every now and then. Yeah, I'll like crack the door, you know, and like shove it through without
Sure.
interacting.
Okay. What about anybody else?
Probably no decorations.
All right. While on transit here and at drift, comfortably in spin, you can see these points of light in the distance, growing larger. You realize it's a forward-facing camera, and that's Mars you're looking at. It's still just a prick of light in the darkness, but it's something that you can see, kind of lock eyes onto, and understand that you're getting closer. The trip isn't over yet. This isn't the fastest ship in the world, or universe, I should say. Given that it's not consistent linear thrust the whole time. It is, however, capable of moving a lot of people, and doing so very comfortably when they do so. A couple of details that you've picked up as you've moved around the ship is that it's also heavily shielded from radiation as well, making it perfect to do these long hauls in space where you have longer exposure to without a magnetosphere. Being heavily shielded by radiation is often a good thing, and your slowest ships tend to do it, or ships that stay in areas for a length of time that requires additional radiation shielding. This is one of them. What's the routine, the daily routine, for each of you during this time? These long hours of the trip.
Well,
It's about the last
Bailey
week.
hadn't been out of the military too long, so he still sort of lives in that lifestyle, accustomed to maintaining a schedule. So if he's not eating or studying his gun manuals, he's only really pulled away for ship entertainment or to have a few drinks with the others.
All right. What about the rest of you? What's your daily routine look like during this time?
I'm pretty much just sleeping in, enjoying the amenities, going to the theater in the ship and all the entertainment that there is to offer, while I'm basically treating it like a cruise.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is, really.
Yeah, so I'm just acting like a guest, you know, like not like I'm trying to be inconspicuous, but it's just kind of what's happening.
All right.
And I'm definitely enjoying it. I'm making a lot of friends. I am drinking with a lot of people, hearing new stories.
Yeah, there's like 150
telling jokes.
people on the ship, right?
Yeah, I'm talking to a bunch of people. I'm also like kind of pretending to be a character. If any of you see me interacting with these other people, it's kind of like you know, a characterized version of what I think highbrow society is like, but not so like cartoony that it's like super noticeable. Like it's subdued, but it's definitely not me. Like when you see me,
Like you're actually trying to fit in with
yeah,
it. Or,
yeah.
okay.
But it's kind of like more like I'm having fun about it. Like I'm making fun of them at the same time in my head.
Okay.
But it's like I'm just living like they are. I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying.
All right. Make me a social roll.
Okay.
Just be average.
Let's see. Average. Let's go.
Is it safe to assume that most of the passengers are pretty well to do, like, you know, business people traveling around?
The fifth cabin, you've seen the guy come out of that a few times. It's a guy and his wife. They both seem very wealthy. The other people that you see on board, it's a fair mix. I mean, this is like one of the most common ways to traverse the void, you know. It's like getting on a 747 to Europe or something. You know, there's gonna be some rich people in first class, but there's also gonna be just regular folks that need to go on a trip, whether it's for work or
I guess
for anything else.
Right. I mean, I figured
It leans wealthy. Yes, absolutely, it leans wealthy.
Okay.
It's not. There's no like poor people on board, because poor people can't afford to do that. They're stuck. They're like literally locked into places
or something. Yeah, that's
maybe
what
not
I was
even
kinda
that.
thinking. Right. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. But I mean, it's not like all millionaires or whatever or anything like that. You guys are probably the poorest people on board.
Stop it.
My social role.
We're rich with
maybe not.
potential.
Sells me out.
But yeah, so you mingle with these people, and sometimes it goes well. You do pick up that a lot of them seem to kind of like, they can tell you don't really fit in with them, and they can tell that you're kind of trying to make fun of them, and they mostly just cold shoulder you and ignore you and stuff.
Fair enough.
But nobody, like, it's not like it starts a fight or anything like that.
Yeah.
Remember, your social
no.
your social stat goes up and down over the course of the campaign. So keep that in mind. So you can get a higher social later, or
Yeah.
depending on what you do. But right
Makes
now,
sense,
nobody likes
stand
you.
out there.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. But yeah, it's not like it's nobody like is an absolute dick to you or anything like that. And the staff is absolutely treats you, you know, perfectly well, right? They're very kind, well mannered. Even like to the point, like if you're doing something that kind of makes fun of them, even a little bit, it's like. They will be they'll still be kind and well mannered about it and stuff. There are probably a few of them that are like, okay, yeah, buddy, I've seen that 100 times, you know. I live on a ship that travels back and forth between the void. But to some degree, there's probably like a level of exhaustion that you can detect in most of them, to where they're just like, they're too tired to give a fuck. You know, they're doing it for the paycheck. And and it's not easy work, but it's and I would say probably because you're living on this thing for weeks, you probably do get a couple of chances where you see the actual crew amenities, and they're not living like you guys are. They all have double staterooms, which means there's 2 people per room. But they're not bad staterooms, but it's like, you know, that you would expect on like a cruise ship, that kind of a thing, right? The crew doesn't have the luxurious cabins. You also pick up that a lot of these people stay on ship for probably about 6 or 7 months out of the year, and then get off at a port and stay there for a few months, and then get back onto the same ship a lot of times. So, you know, they're sailors, commercial sailors, right? But yeah, it's the kind of the details you pick up over time. Like, again, it's very comfortable. You've got another week within the journey. If you want to make another investigation roll, you can, but if you're going to make any progress on it, it's going to, at this point, I think, probably be at a 12 difficulty. Like, without getting information from Lean or anything.
I mean, just out of boredom, I might as well roll it again. But
Sure.
yeah, as far as my thing, like I said, I would wake up, I would kind of watch the daily news. And I kind of want to say this before, but to the degree possible, I would sort of actively listen to the news, like kind of as things came up that were interesting. I might do some more digging and just like get more of the background on things.
Okay, yeah.
To whatever degree kind of possible, just as a flavor thing.
That's fine.
All right, I'm rolling this. Not quite. Otherwise, yeah, it would be pretty balanced. So I would unpack a little bit. I would probably unpack my clothes and have some knickknacks on the nightstand, but otherwise keep it pretty clean because I've done a fair bit of travel, and it's, you know, it's kind of kind of used to it. So I would just kind of do whatever kind of bare minimum I would need to be comfortable, like a picture or something of my family or whatever, and that would be it. So yeah, evening entertainment, eat 4 meals a day or whatever you do on a cruise, and just kind of hanging out, socialize with these guys and a little bit with other guests, but not really in particular.
Okay.
Just kind of letting time pass.
Let's do this then. Roll me a D100.
On the 8 again, baby.
Let's do this.
2 98s in a row.
That's fine. It just moves off by 1 in the other direction. Well, what are the other 2? Roll a D6.
Oh, you're all on the same table. Let's see.
Yep. That was the wrong one. Whoops, my bad.
Community content.
Oh, it's a community content. That was weird.
I heard that.
Yeah.
I was like, where did that come from?
That was weird. I didn't know it would do that. I didn't do that. Huh. Well, anyway, you're flipping through the news networks, trying to gather information during this last week, see what's happening across the solar system, you know, what's happening back at Earth and stuff. Eventually you're like, oh, we're going to the belt, and you look through stuff that's happening in the belt. There's not a lot of news coming out of the belt, but there's always news coming out of the Jovian system and stuff, so you tune into there and you see, or you not tune into the Jovian system, but you basically search a keyword search for news from the Jovian system, and a Earth broadcast comes up. You can see it's from one of the more respected sources of Earth news broadcasting. It's Earth Global News. It reads, "Good morning, I'm Karen Thompson, bringing you the latest updates on the Jovian system from Earth Global News. Here are the top stories making headlines today. Unrest in the Jovian system. Tensions continue to escalate in the Jovian system as political and social unrest rock the region. Reports suggest that the newly formed Jovian Alliance provisional government, established after the recent coup, is struggling to maintain stability. Amid power struggles and fractional conflicts, the situation remains volatile, and the repercussions could have far-reaching implications for the Jovian system and its neighboring regions. Megacorp influence under scrutiny. Megacorporations operating within the Jovian system are facing increased scrutiny. So when I'm reading the headline, it's supposed to be like what appears next to them, like above their thing, right? Okay. The Jovian system are facing increased scrutiny over their influence and alleged exploitation. Concerns have been raised regarding the treatment of the legal underclass and displaced inhabitants, with accusations of discrimination and forced clearances. Activist groups and human rights organizations on Earth are calling for greater accountability and transparency from these corporate entities. And changes again. Earth's role in the Jovian crisis. As tensions rise in the Jovian system, Earth finds itself closely monitoring the situation. Diplomatic efforts are underway to facilitate dialogue between the Jovian Alliance government, megacorporations, and the various factions involved. The Interplanetary Council has dispatched envoys to engage in negotiations and encourage peaceful resolutions to the ongoing conflicts. Earth's role in stabilizing the region remains crucial. The Seoul Commonwealth Council did not comment on events. And then it changes. In other news, FTL experiments raise ethical concerns. Controversy surrounds the major megacorp. I just forgot their name. Put the blank in here for it.
Oh, Laura.
Oh, sorry. Solobek. Controversy surrounds the major megacorp Solobek major megacorp Solobek's FTL experiments in the Jovian system. Recent revelations indicate that human test subjects recruited from vulnerable populations, such as prisoners, may have suffered fatal consequences during these secretive trials. Human rights organizations and concerned citizens on Earth are demanding a thorough investigation into these allegations and accountability for those responsible. That concludes our news update on the Jovian system. Stay tuned to Earth Global News, EGN, for the latest developments. I'm Karen Thompson, and thank you for watching. It cuts to a commercial break. All right. Last week, are there any scenes that you guys want to do? I'm not going to do any more interludes or anything like that. I'm just going to ask what you're doing. If there are any scenes you want to have.
I think we would all meet together as we start to get close-ish. Or private.
Sure.
Probably at some point it would show Bailey taking one of the drinks of the day and filling a canteen that he has, like a flask.
Okay. So I will say that you guys gather either in one of your quarters or in one of the public spaces if you wish. Your choice. But first I want to ask a quick question. Are any of you doing any kind of training or studying other than Bailey was during this time, who was trying to learn firearm stuff for the last 2 weeks?
Well, I would be, so I don't know if this would be training in any way or whatever, but I would be kind of looking at any new developments in just like scientific developments, reading any kind of white paper type situation that would happen on just chemistry, biology, astrogation. Those are kind of the mainly chemistry and astrogation are the kind
Sure.
of the two
I mean,
things
there's a library on board,
study.
stuff like that. So I mean, just pick one.
I would be more like studying the chemistry, reading any new developments, any new news on anything that's happened or been discovered or
Okay.
things like that.
So well, technically, reading the news does not count as studying, but if you I mean, reading these can be part of studying, right? But it's not. That's not it. Just studying. But if you're spending a significant portion of your time during this 2-week period studying, whether that includes that or not, the news or not, it's fine. You should count those as time that you are spending. It's per week, right? I haven't done it in a while. It's per week, right, Venom?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You're tracking, yeah.
Yeah, so you do a week and then you have to do a roll, right, to see if that week counts. Or no, yes,
no,
that's it.
Is it? No, I think you do the 8 weeks and then you roll to see if it was off or not.
Is it 8 weeks?
If not, you lose.
It's 8 weeks total, yes, but I don't know if what he said
Damn.
is true.
I think that's how it works.
Let's look and see. But is anybody else studying anything during this time? That 2 weeks? Gun combat for Bailey.
I
Science,
would potentially
chemistry
be working out if
Isaac.
there's facilities.
Yeah, there's facilities on
Kind of
board.
feeling the gravity a little bit, so I would be hitting the gym to do some strength training, maybe to see if I can
Okay.
get up to speed on that.
Yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
So like athletic strength.
Oh, so you're gonna do
think,
that? Okay, you can do that. You can also raise your stats too. It's harder, but go ahead and lean.
I think
What's up?
Just athletics.
I'll have kind of had my fun with the highbrows and have found my people. And
Okay.
so I've been drinking and carousing with a group of the more blue collar passengers. And I think I want to use that to enhance my carouse, if at all possible, or to work on that.
Sure. Yeah, I'll say that counts as a way of working on that. Let's confirm how this works, since this is the first time we ever do
So
this.
how many weeks were you saying?
It's 2 weeks.
3 weeks? Oh, 2 weeks.
Well, during the last, you haven't finished the 3rd week, but there will be 3 weeks, so maybe we should just do 3. But we haven't finished the 3rd yet. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Advancement. Each career has advancement. No, that's not it. Where is it at? Where's index?
Post-career education. Just commit to a study period. A study period is equal to 8 weeks of study.
Yeah.
Need not be consecutive, but these weeks must be fully dedicated and spend 8 hours a day practicing. If you're interrupted midweek, you lose the whole thing. Once 8 weeks of training and learning have been accumulated over any length of total time, a study period is completed, and then you must succeed in an average. Oh, so it's kind of both. You need multiple study periods depending on how high the skill is you want to raise. But yeah, you roll an average education after 8 weeks of training to lock in that study period. This is a core rule book under post-career education.
Approved by exercise or study, representing spending XP is noted. I'm looking at the XP one too. A new trait by investing 30 XP. Okay.
You need 1 study period, so 8 weeks to go to a 0. You need 2 study periods to go to level 1, etc.
So just record 2 weeks, or well, you can just go ahead and record 3 weeks for yourself. You don't need to make the education rolls at the end of these, I don't think, right?
Until the 8 weeks, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that's wrong. You need 1 study period to go to 0. You need 1 study period to go to 1. 2 study periods to go to 2.
Gotcha. And I'm also using the XP system as well, so you earn XP by doing adventures and stuff like that you can then spend to raise skills or characteristics. It takes a lot to raise characteristics. To raise a skill to get a skill at 0, it would be 2 XP. To get a skill at 1, it would be 10 XP. Then 20, 30, so on. Which is quite a bit of XP. It's 30 to raise a trait by 1. Understand? So pick your skill and record that you have 2 weeks worked towards it. Or 3 weeks, sorry.
3 weeks, yeah.
Alright, and that's it. The time, as I say, that dot on the screen gets larger and larger, and redder, until eventually, one day, in the middle of the week, the camera zooms in. An optical zoom with it, that it completed within range. And you can see now clearly Mars in the distance. Now, you're not close enough that you're still a couple of days away from when you would actually dock there at Deimos. But the view is much closer now due to this zoom. And while that's, and you know that's just a zoom, it sort of seeds in your mind the urgency of, oh, this is happening, we have to figure this out now. The partying dies down a bit, and the responsibility rises up. The sense of, okay, we have to do this. We actually have to do this. This is real. Starts to dawn on you as you now look that red dot, now a large red orb in the middle of the screen. The first step of many, hopefully. You each meet in one of your cabins or at the bar, whatever. Where would you like to meet?
Probably a cabin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whichever you prefer.
Call a meeting.
Right. So I'm gonna hand this off to you. You're fully in character. Whoever would like to call everybody to your cabin, do it.
I call everybody at Paris's cabin.
Okay.
Oh, hey guys. Yeah,
Hey.
come on in.
Yeah. Can't help but notice that we're pretty much almost there, huh?
Yeah, it's getting starting to feel real.
Yeah. You know, I had my fun.
That's just talking out there.
Sorry.
It's just, yes, ma'am.
Made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to be useful, right?
Well, absolutely. Yes, have a seat, have a cocktail if you want.
If I do.
So we'll be at Deimos soon. What are our plans? What should we do?
What do we have to do when we get there? We need a
Has
ship,
anyone-
right?
Looked into renting a ship?
I'm not. I haven't done shit.
Yeah,
we We could probably handle that when we get there, but I think we're gonna need something. We'll need something maybe small and inconspicuous. But
I'm sure Omen can find the perfect thing.
I've been procrastinating.
Omen,
Yeah, that's my call sign.
if we don't have any luck, I've been to Damius before. Hopefully, I might know somebody there who can help us.
Oh, well, that might be useful. Okay, so yeah, we need a ship. We need just a rent, and then that's gonna get us where we need to get this.
Do we want to try to find
in the middle of nowhere?
Do we want to try to get it back to Damus, or find something we can fly all the way to Ganymede? Can you,
Or,
all the way.
do that? Can you do that, Bailey?
I don't know.
I mean, not the ramp part, but the fly part.
Yeah, like a
Oh,
U-Haul.
fly, yeah.
What about you, Isaac? Can you get us? You know, this might be a shitty craft. It's not gonna have any star charts or anything. Think you can navigate us there?
Oh yeah, not a
No
problem.
half measures now. This is a real thing.
Oh yeah.
I think the biggest concern of the entire trip is once we get to Prosperous Station, we can't just bring that box through security.
No, we're gonna have to go around.
Any ideas?
Hopefully the contact has a way of doing that, but I don't know
Yeah,
of any.
we have to get exactly. We need to somehow get in touch with them.
Your
while the
job is to
cargo's
smuggle it
safe.
onto Prospera Station.
That's where we're meeting
To the
them,
client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How you
But
do
we
it's up
legit
to
have
you.
to. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to pretend. I mean, I think we have to. Has anybody been there before?
No. Maybe actually.
Once. Or
I think I probably
Maybe.
was.
I mean, yeah,
Was
if you're
us too
from the
drunk to
Jovian system,
remember.
you probably have been.
So I don't know how it's laid out. If there's a way for us to essentially dock somewhere that's not official.
Is there a way to like trick them into letting us in? Like, oh,
Nah,
our
the
ship
only-
is incapacitated. Can you give us a tow into the harbor?
But I
Nah,
think getting
nah.
in is okay. It's a matter of
the only
It
thing that
matters.
comes directly to mind is just direct bribery.
it's not bad.
Universal language, right?
We're a persuasive bunch. We could, yeah. If it comes to that.
I guess, yeah. I guess first things first, we get to where we're going, get a ship, get to Mars, get a ship of our own, and secure the bag.
You would know if you've been to Prospera Station that there's not really any normal docking at Prospera Station, period. Basically, people that go to Prospera Station go down the rail to get to it.
Yeah, they
From
do it on the
Ganymede Harbor.
side.
Yeah.
About abnormal docking.
But as for whatever security checkpoints are between the harbor and Prosperous,
Prospera.
Prospera, I don't know.
It's basically like a
Maybe.
train that you get in. Like, you remember, you know, the monorail in Babylon 5 where they strap in and they go down that central thing? It's kind of like that, but on a cable, basically, that goes between the two stations.
Haven't seen Babylon 5.
Well, you saw it earlier a
stop
little
the,
bit.
stop the
So, yeah,
stream.
let's stop the game. Hang on.
Shut it down. Shut it down. I'm not gonna sit down at the role playing table.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry, everyone watching. We gotta go do something real quick.
Well, it's a monorail
We'll
that
fix this.
that hangs
Yeah.
underneath the cable that you're in, and there's like a harness that goes down over you when you're in it.
Lots of sweet bean weapons.
There's like multiples. It's not just like one car on the cable that goes. It's like it's a big, long, super cable, right? With like cars on multiple sides, like a space elevator between two space stations. Think about it like that. that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how hot this ticket's gonna be. Like, yes, it's a crate from a corp, but not necessarily anything suspicious about it.
Right. Like, what should stand out? You know, it's just a box.
Right.
Like they see a million boxes a day.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can play by ear when we get there, but one step at a time. That's the plan. Rent a ship and try to get to fetch it. Hope that goes smoothly, and then go all the way to Ganymede with the box.
Stage 1, rent a ship.
All right. And I'll take a cheers. Have a drink.
You can charter a ship. Keep that in mind, right? Like, that's the more common thing. Basically, you like get a ship that has its own like captain or whatever, and he'll be like, "Yeah, it's my ship, and I'll take you wherever you want to go." And then,
Yeah.
No questions asked, I hope.
depends on the guy you get.
Because like
But-
we're definitely sending them to a spot that has no known facility. Like,
Oh, sorry, sir. Big
There's something
captain,
there, trust
man.
us.
I left my box there. Can you help
yeah,
get it for me?
They mailed it to the Amazon, dropped it off the wrong plane.
Yes, you know those
All right.
idiots.
So, there's 2 days left. Those 2 days go by uneventfully as you guys enjoy the amenities of the station for a brief period of time. Or sorry, this ship. I keep saying it, calling it a station. It's so big.
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah.
Floating
It's almost a
city.
space station. Yeah, but
You ever been on a cruise ship? Those things are like
Exactly.
incomprehensible. Like when
Exactly.
you're inside of it, you're just like, what the fuck?
it's like that,
Stores.
but in space, right? Yeah, there's stores all over it and stuff. Fast food. Like I said, Cosmic Bites is really good.
Or like a arboreum or something.
And plus, like, like definitely like trees and stuff in there, like fake mostly, but there's a lot of like vitamin D lights and stuff too, to make you feel like you're outside when you're inside certain rooms and all of that. Probably like in the gym area. It's been very comfortable. You take advantage of it for the last 2 days of the trip. Before long, you are asked once again to enter your cabins, strap into your crash couches. You feel that feeling once again as the Coriolis shifts to zero gravity. The thrust has already at some point here kicked up, and you are braking on your burn now. Before too much time happens, the thrust increases. This time a bit above 1G. It's not like too uncomfortable or whatever. If you sustain 3+ Gs or whatever for a really long time, it can be. But for a brief period of time, you're at 2, 3, a few hours pass by, and it's more uncomfortable than it was on the journey here, but not uncomfortable. Then relief as the G's evade. There's nothing. You're floating once more. The station now comes into view on your little screen in your cabin. You can see now the nose of your craft extending out, the docking arm once more, connecting to the station as it spins around, and you begin to feel yourself sink back into that seat in its current position. Picks up a bit more. There's a bit of a vibration and a chunk as the docking clamps lock, and you feel the effect of a little bit less than 1G, about 0.75 or so G, as the ship and station are now docked, and you are once again being swung around on the end of a spinning disc. The chime happens once more. The announcement thanks you for your journey, welcomes you back aboard the ship for many more in the future, and the staff kindly greets you on your way out says goodbye to you and hands each of you a small care package as you leave. Each of it is having like a bottle of basic and a few little bites to eat. Excuse me. But you notice that the normal passengers don't get that. It's just the first class cabins that do.
Pinkies up.
And the grandeur of being a first class passenger aboard this beautiful liner melts away into the industrial tones of the station beyond. Let me pull this up. 1 second, sorry. Yeah, there it is. Welcome to Victoria 5 Station, in Deimos orbit. You can see Mars clearly from here. Deimos is the smallest of Mars' 2 moons, Deimos and Phobos. It's a convenient point, gravitationally speaking, for the station. And that's why it's here. A convenience of gravity. It needs very little thrust to stay here in this position. And so it does so. Gateway to Mars. Welcome to Victoria 5. The luxury melts away as you step into the Martian habitat beyond. It's well maintained. It's not old, in fact. It's quite new looking, almost pristine, but not in a fancy corporate way. It's very different in style than what you saw back at Eternity Station. It's almost military. It's almost
Brutal.
Yes, it's almost brutalist in its design, but it is again very, very clean, and in many ways really nice. Right? It's quite large. For the corridors are quite large to walk through here in the station, and you realize why as you hear a honk behind you and step to the side as a wheeled vehicle drives along the corridor here. Basically a golf cart, but yeah, you notice a few of the others going by. Victoria 5 is about 10 to 20 times the size of Eternity Station. It's an important hub for coming to Mars. Almost every ship that goes to Mars stops at Victoria 5 Station. And that is obvious here as you enter the lobby beyond and see the traffic. There's a lot of people here coming and going. There's a lot of those smaller vehicles going by. Several of them are a little bit louder than others, but the place itself is quite busy. The day is yours. You've got as long as you want until you don't have any more time. What do you do?
Where would we might go to see about renting a ship? Is there something that seems obvious?
So to charter a ship or whatever, you can basically do that here in the area where you would be at the lobby is basically the starport. So there are many companies that you could go through, but mostly it's done like privately, right? That people that register to have their ship chartered. There are a number of kiosks here that you could refer to try and see if something's available. There's no like store you go up to rent ships or anything like that.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go up to a kiosk.
Okay.
No space, you Paul.
Yeah, I'll search for
Yeah, as you go up to the
Ship rental,
kiosk,
no
you can
question
see
asked.
on the kiosk you can see like this is where you can get a ticket to go, like like you just did, like on a liner. This is also where you can get private charter, and this is also where you can see some of the amenities of the station and like pull up a map and be like, oh, how do I get to there or whatever. There's habitation areas. It's a big station. It's again a big wheel like this, right? The major difference is it's actually two of these spinning in opposite directions on one large bar in the middle, basically. And so you can transfer between the two areas, but it's quite a lot of space. And you can see that in order to get between the two areas, you have to ride a monorail. That's very common on the larger stations. The chartering of an individual ship is not a difficult task. It's more about finding one that's available in the time frame you want it to be, and one that is gonna fit the needs of what you want. So this is a broker job.
Couple questions. One, I would never retcon anything, but do we have an idea what the time frame is for this job? Were we given a deadline?
You were not given a deadline in that, oh, you need to have this turned in by this point, but you were given the subtle suggestion that this is a handoff that's being done between somebody else, probably from some stolen crate or whatever, and this guy wants you to steal the crate from the people that stole the crate before they hand it off.
But we don't have any intel on when their intended pickup was. Okay.
No.
So just as soon as
I
possible.
doesn't know that either.
So one thought was we could put in a request for like, I don't know, we could offer like it's conceivable that someone wants a ship transferred from, let's say, Mars to Jupiter, and we could basically offer to do that for someone. Like we could put in a job into the broker and say, you know, train crew looking to
That's not a bad idea.
facilitate a transfer.
Use their
Otherwise, we
ship.
just search for and then we kind of see how that goes.
What's there? We'd have to get
It
another ship once we got
it
there.
might take time before that gets picked up. No. I mean, ultimately, we're going to Ganymede. We're just going through the asteroid belt, which we have to cross anyway. But I don't know where in the asteroid belt the pickup is. But yeah, we basically say we're gonna take we'll take your ship for you from Mars to Jupiter. So Phobos to Ganymede, and then in the interim, we'll grab the package.
I like that idea.
I don't know if it'll
sounds
work
pretty good.
because we have to wait for somebody to see. Like,
Yeah.
it's probably a thing, but whether
Someone to buy
that
it.
It's
I don't know
basically
when that happens.
some either corporation or rich dude or what have you on Ganymede who's like, hey, I have a ship. It's over there. I need it here. I'm offering to pay
it's
somebody to bring it.
conceivable, but also they don't. They may need credentials or something for that as well.
I mean, I could fly.
Yeah, well, I know. Well, we know you can fly. You could show them if you have to, but they might ask to see some kind of license or whatever. I don't know. Otherwise, we just do a search and see what kind of people we can find. But yeah, I don't love the idea of involving another person in this. Seems crazy.
Right.
Because
I
how do
know.
we? I mean, we're basically breaking the rules, like right then. Like we were not authorized to involve another person in this.
Sure.
It's like, then what happens to that person?
I think that's the best bet. Or renting a ship. I think we should
So
put
I'm
an
gonna
ad
have to
out.
shoot him in the back of the head.
We should put an ad out for sure. Like you're saying, for that service. Otherwise, let's
All
rent
right.
a
I mean,
ship.
can't hurt. Can't hurt. Let's do it.
Yeah, exactly. It can't hurt. And
Who
if
knows how to
we,
use this system?
I have computer skills.
Need broker.
Computer, you have broker.
The big broker.
I do have broker.
I do
Broker
know.
one.
It's nice.
Admin?
I have not admin. Never mind.
Admin's a little bit more like paperworky.
Yeah, I would say
I
this
have
is
broker.
broker.
I think you do too, Patch, right?
Not broker.
Broker.
Oh, really? Okay, I'll roll it then. I got broker.
Admin's kind of like keeping an inventory of stocks or kind of bureaucracy kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'll say that's broker int, and probably average. Yeah.
Okay.
My time with the merchants, I learned engineering.
Okay, that's right.
That's right, you did. Okay.
Cool. I put a services offered advertisement out on the local boards. Hoping someone is in need of a ship delivery in that vicinity. There's a lot of activity out here.
problems.
So that broker role will I'll allow that. The broker role is more for like finding what's available and all that stuff. Putting up like an ad.
I'll do both, right? Like I'll check.
Absolutely,
first.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what that would be.
Maybe it's like an
Yeah.
easier broker role. Just to
I mean,
know
yeah,
how
I
to
could
put the
I
right
could see that.
language and stuff.
I also have
Yeah, I just don't think it would be
Profession
it. Oh, okay.
and we're in the belt, especially, and so
Well,
it's
you're
also
not.
like
You're in Mars.
On the edge of
oh,
it.
that's right. I forgot. We're going there. We're going to the belt.
But profession belter doesn't mean you're in the belt.
Limited to the belt, right?
Yeah, that just means like I do
skills,
salvage and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you get the lingo.
I feel like
code
finding
words you can
jobs like,
drop in.
exactly. I think
Yeah.
finding jobs like that was something I definitely did. You know, on the free merchant vessel, on the Bambi.
Okay. So I will let you. Let's make it a. Yeah, and I guess in this circumstance that makes sense. So make a social broker. Yeah, a social broker easy roll, or like 6, whatever it's called in the VTT.
Social. I don't know how to make it a social broker, or do I have to? Oh, broker and then
broker,
select social.
yeah, choose, yeah.
Yeah.
Social. And you said easy.
Yeah. Difficulty 6.
Okay, routine. All right.
Okay. I'll say that effect means that it's a pretty good, like, ad or whatever. Like, it looks like, okay, these are legit crew, people that can do this.
I know
It
the
would-
talk. Hell yeah.
But the whole like, oh, we're gonna give you a ship to deliver somewhere is quite the ask, especially when somebody doesn't have a CL. So I'm gonna make a luck roll, just a straight luck roll.
Okay.
And I think this is gonna be a tough one. So there's no bonuses on it. It would be just a regular 8 roll or whatever. But this is a good time to mention I didn't do it right earlier, but this is a good time to mention. Yeah. That's not working. Well, I'll have to fix that later. I don't know why it's not working. But Psycho did the interlude earlier. During your interlude, you earned a boon. Oh, there it goes. It's working now, which is
Nice.
super delayed. So, yeah, look at that. Oh, wow, it's so lagged out. That's crazy. Anyway. So, I gotta figure out why that's so lagged. All right, now it's working right. Now it's working right.
For his role playing.
That's fair. So you get a boon, and the thing that I'm doing differently with boons in this campaign is that you can pass them to people.
Oh,
You can give your boon to anybody else in the party that you want for any role. So the reason I mention it now is it's like if you want to give Lean your boon for the luck roll, you can.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay. So you may roll this with a boon.
What's your luck?
All right. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, what is your luck?
-1.
Oh boy. I got
Plus
plus
the worst.
Not good.
You didn't write the thing though.
What?
I was talking to Paris.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fun.
all right, here we go. Booned. Yeah, oh baby.
All right,
Oh,
effect
shit.
one.
I made such a good fucking cover letter.
Oh, nice.
It's close. Okay.
That boon was clutch.
Got him. We got him, boys. Good work.
Okay. So there's a delivery available for hazardous material. It is to Ganymede Harbor. It is, and I can give you a little bit of information. Unless I closed it, which I might have. Looks like I did. That's convenient.
I've done that.
Yep, I'm not gonna try and open it back up. That's gonna take me too long. But the, but you're looking for it's a bunch of rare earth minerals and stuff, but also several chemicals and materials that are used in the process of making engines and stuff that are used in the construction at Ganymede Harbor. There is also a number of radioactives that are being transported, and the hull is considered to be a fair risk of
That's why it's available.
potential of potential danger to the crew or whatever. The ship that it's being transported on is just a hauler. It's literally 4 like big bulbs of material that are on the outside of the ship, and then the cabin in the front, which has no staterooms. It just has the cockpit, and it'll probably have, I guess it'll probably be 6. Yeah, that makes sense. It would be 6 bunks, and then it would be like a little center area that you can eat and stuff, and a bathroom, and an airlock. And that's it, right? It's just a tiny little thing that hauls these bulbs of radioactive material and then a rocket on the other end. It does have persistent thrust. It's not capable of 1G of total thrust. It's only capable of 0.5 G, so that's the total amount of gravity you'll experience when you're on board, which is enough to move around fine. Just a little weird. Takes some getting used to, but you'll be used to it within a day. The ship itself is very poorly maintained. And one thing that is interesting, because you get that effect on the luck, not just the 0, this ship is chartered by Syllabec Industries.
Oh man, that is the
Checkmate.
That's peak irony.
God.
Oh my god.
Business as usual.
And you can leave it. You can leave it any time you want to. With it, it is prepared to be loaded, but the crew, of course, is responsible for all cargo loading, unloading, and all the dangers and stuff involved.
Y'all can handle that, right?
That's nasty. That's nasty stuff. I talked to some miners that dig this stuff up. It's real nasty.
All right, you guys.
Yeah,
we got a
we can
hit
handle
on our
it.
ad. You're not gonna like it though. Yeah,
No,
it's
I
just
mean
nasty.
hey, as
Time
long
to
as
get
it's
our hands dirty.
5,000 tons, I can fly it.
All right, we got a pilot, we got a ship, we got some hazardous material to load up.
All right.
Do we
when-
have a time frame for this delivery?
Yes, actually, you do.
So we're gonna.
Yeah,
have
it needs to
work-
be in Ganymede Harbor within a month.
Oh fuck yes! It's probably pretty slow though. The thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. Roll 1d6. I'm looking on my little job table.
1 week.
Let's go. Oh, whoops. Hang on.
No, it's 1d weeks plus 4, so it's 8
8
weeks
So 2 months. Nice.
to 2 months exactly. Yeah.
So Isaac, what how long does it normally take to do this? And then do we need to buy additional fuel to like handle the difference?
Oh, fucking great question.
Like, because we're gonna have to make an extra stop. and
It's
we
we're
can't-
making a secret stop. Yeah. Out of the way.
It is out of the way,
the
so
way.
it will add some time to the trip. You would know that.
Looking up
It-
plot of course.
It is also yeah, you can do
Gator.
that. It would be astrogation. It would be int astrogation. You would have to do that once you're on the ship and everything, though.
But in terms of just figuring that kind of basic.
Yeah, absolutely. You can just start figuring out the basics
no
of it.
around the
You
thing.
can't plot the actual course or whatever and figure
Yeah,
all the
right,
details.
yeah.
But, and you're not going to get the adjustments that'll happen depending on how well you do or
Oh
whatever.
no,
Oh, with an effect of negative
forgot.
4, you have no fucking
forgot how to
clue.
astrogate.
Oh,
40
this is
weeks.
like
40
a-
weeks.
I think we
for
need
that.
negative fuel. I think it's gonna give us fuel as we go.
Oh right, we'll skip off the rocks. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're gonna slingshot
You can slingshot off of
the
that
whole way.
asteroid. That sounds legit. And the radiation coming off of out of the rare earth stuff will be giving us a little extra boost.
We got our solar sails up.
Get as close to it as possible.
All right, so you're heading out to a gas giant. The normal trip time for this, I'm just ballparking this for you because you're not doing the actual like stuff for it, right? Would be, since you don't you didn't make a very good roll, I'm not gonna tell you like anywhere near close to an exact thing, but I'll give you a range.
Appreciate you.
It could take anywhere from like 100 to like 200 plus hours.
Okay.
To get to Ganymede from where you're at now.
With the half a G.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's okay. So
Oh
it's-
no,
we have a
you have
window.
to burn. You have to burn extra fuel for that, though. You do. So what's that? Half G.
But that tells us. I mean, it's like
Yeah, it's basically 200
week or-
plus
week or
hours.
two. Yeah, okay. That's enough. So like 10 days or something, like plenty of time.
And then
Alright,
to
let's
get to the
motor.
point out in the belt that you need to get to, that'd probably be like 40-ish hours from your current position.
Okay.
And you will need to buy extra fuel if you want to, but you didn't roll well enough to know exactly how much. But you'll need probably 10% or so more fuel, which on this ship will
Yeah.
cost
Pick up a little bit more.
find. Wait, hold on. Roll 1d for me, please. Okay, so 500 per total, and then 10% of the total is... Okay, so 20. Times 500. Yeah, it's 10,000 credits of fuel.
Come on, Cynycal. Come on.
Yeah, that's base price. 10,000 credits of fuel.
So 10,000 extra fuel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we're not paying. I'm assuming we don't pay for the regular fuel. Would that be right to assume that? Like the fuel to go to Ganymede?
Sorry, it comes fueled up, yeah.
Correct. Just for the extra fuel.
Okay, this is an extra. Okay. I have that.
You will be being paid for
The job,
as well.
actually. 5,000 credits.
I'll tell you how much it is. It's per week. Expected week, anyway. Where is it at?
We're gonna call it soon.
Yeah, we are. It's like 1,000 each per week. So you're looking. I mean, you're probably gonna each make about 7,000 or 8,000 total.
Okay.
It depends on some details. Let's see.
All right. Well, no worries. I will.
5,000.
I'll
5,000 each.
I'll put up the 10K.
Assuming
you got that
assuming
burger,
assuming the delivery is successful,
Carried
it's
out,
it's
yeah.
yeah, it's
I'm
5,000
offended.
each.
I'm offended you would even suggest.
Okay. With that, you head off to board the vessel and begin the arduous process of cargo loading, which will be a somewhat difficult process. I'm just gonna need you guys to make me like a strength athletics roll for doing the work here, as well as I think a mechanics roll, like an int mechanics roll, so it's part of the task chain. So whoever wants to do the strength roll can do that, and whoever wants to do the athletics roll can do that. And then for a third roll, because I think this should be a 3-point task chain, I would say that should be administration.
I have mechanic, so I can do that one.
Okay. That'd be int
Athletics is
mechanic.
Okay. That'd be net plus
And
one.
then one.
So-
I'm gonna don my combat environment suit for this and start shoveling.
All right, athletics person, start us off with your roll.
I do a regular roll or I do a test? I just do regular.
You start it, and then they chain off of you. Yes, and it's average difficulty.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I'm a -2.
All right, so next up, the mechanic. If you would please chain off of that.
Indubitably.
So click the chain/assisted roll button.
Yeah. You said int.
Yes, int mechanic.
Boom. Yikes.
All right, and
good.
now the administration. Who's doing the administration? Like basically directing all this, where it goes and stuff. It'll be int administration. Yeah. I would allow education too on this, I guess.
usual scene for me. So
So your effect.
Hey.
All right.
Woo! The big
Okay.
zero.
Well, it doesn't go great. You bang the stuff up a few times, and you are fairly certain you exposed yourself to a lot of radiation. I'm not joking. Like, you definitely did. To the point that when you board the vessel, after getting everything locked up, and you go through the contamination process in the very small 2-person med bay that's part of this thing, you sit in the auto docks, and it denotes that you've all received a not lethal but a dangerous level of radiation, and you will need to begin radiation treatments, or potentially cancers will begin forming within the next few weeks.
All right, we will start that process, I guess.
You hold that thought. I'm looking to see what my environmental suit does.
Does it have a rad protection rating on it?
I'm looking.
Society, roll me 2D. Just 2D6. Okay. You take 6 points of radiation damage per day, every day, unless you take the treatment for the next week. The treatment stops the damage from happening that day. After a week of treatment, you no longer have to do it.
So I have 20 rad protection.
Oh, okay. That's still above the level. You guys fucked up the roll and stuff, so I'm gonna say you would only do half then.
3 days.
Yeah, like 3 damage per day for half of a week.
All right, so I'll start that treatment.
The radiation meds do cost an additional few hundred credits, so you can just write that down. It's 500 credits total. So that would be 500 for each of you.
Me too.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody got exposed. And everybody needs the meds. But good news is you got it loaded up, and there's a bunch of radioactive stuff next to you. The somewhat actual good part of that is that the ship itself, the cabin, is radiation shielded, so you don't need to worry a lot about getting contaminated. It's just that it's the unloading process you have to do next is the scary part. And you all begin your treatment on your potential cancer medications, and mostly it makes you nauseous, but it's not too bad. It's mostly an hour and a half or so a day sitting in this chair as the autodoc injects you with different stuff and monitors certain levels, your cell count and stuff like that. It's not too bad. It's kind of a regimented thing such that no medic roll is required unless your medic wants to make one, which might I have hiccups, which might shorten the period or whatever. But you can also make it worse. So if you would prefer to make the medic roll instead of the auto doc, you can. The auto doc has a medic 1. Would you prefer to roll it or not, Isaac?
I mean, sure, I have a medic 1 as well.
Well, it'd be the same then. It won't change.
No, more fun for me to roll it.
Yeah, well, it's not a roll. If it's the same, if it's 1, it's not going to do anything. You're just basically adding the number to the thing.
Oh, okay, sure.
So if it's 1, it's the same.
Okay, I see.
All right. So with that, you load up the vessel. You do remark that the vessel itself is, let's see here, named Judith's Folly. Judith, and then Folly, Judith's Folly.
I don't want to guess what her folly was.
I know. Not very
It's a pretty old ship, but it's fairly comfortable. It only has the one deck, like I said, that you're on in the cabin. There's no up or down. It's just the one deck that has everything on it. That's basically a big hammerhead in front of the rocket that pushes its stuff with the stuff behind you. So there's a radiation shield in behind you. There's the radioactive material and stuff behind that, and then the fusion engine behind that. It's a persistent linear 0.5 G of thrust. You can, if you need to, spend extra burns to go up to a full G, but it can't do that for too long of a period of time. But you begin the process of preparing to undock, and I think we'll just have our pilot make their very first pilot check. This is the first part is the procedure just to get things ready. It's routine and it's pilot int.
Would this be small craft or spacecraft?
Spacecraft. Pilot int spacecraft. Difficulty 6.
And I must have missed it. How many laser cannons does this thing have?
0. It does have a sandcaster turret, single turret sandcaster. Effect
Might just live.
7. Jesus Christ.
Damn,
Holy
bro.
shit.
Oh shit!
We got a pilot.
You have absolutely no problem at all undocking this thing or whatever. You guys
spin.
feel a brief moment of nullgraph as you separate from the station, and Bailey begins their turn and burn operation. It will require you, normally, if you're leaving a planet or something, to spend 4 burns. This ship here has 24 burns, but because you're not leaving a planet or anything like that, you're leaving a station, it only is 2 burns to spend to change course. A course that your astrogator should set. Go ahead and roll the astrogation roll, my friend. Just astrogation int,
Okay.
average.
Doesn't have to be a 13. I'll settle for 12.
Okay. It's all good. You plot in a course. You're pretty sure it's going to take you about 42, 43 hours to get there. Bailey, it's up to you when the burns get spent. You have to tell. I'm not going to do it for you because it's a resource that you're spending that when you spend goes away. So when you tell me I'm going to spend those 2 burns to act that course to do the burn, that's when it'll happen. Do you spend the burns?
Yeah, if he's got a course that he gives me, I'll go ahead and spend the burn and go.
Okay, give me 1 additional piloting roll. This is dexterity pilot spacecraft, difficulty average.
I was thinking
Okay.
as we approach, we might want to be smart about when we slow down and maybe do our reverse burn like a little bit out, so we're not like burning while we're right at the package.
Do you see that the burns have been reduced? Do you see the burns total now at 22 instead of 24, and the resource tracker in the upper corner of the screen?
Yep.
Okay. With that, then, let's go ahead and do this real quick. The ship spins and begins to... I don't know why it's not playing the thing. Come on, Syrinscape. We can figure it out. You can do it. Maybe? There we go.
I believe.
You turn the DSV to the side and begin thrust. The ship itself reaches up from below and pushes your feet. You now begin to feel that weight sink in up to about half of a gravity. It's a feeling that you've become accustomed to. It's indistinct from being on an actual planet. The half G, of course, is different than being on Earth, but if you were on a planet that had this gravity, it would feel the same. And it's you look around the interior of this space, some of you perhaps taking your auto dock medicine, some of you, because you only do 2 people at a time, so you have to take turns, but some of you probably look on the feeds, some of you manning, Bailey certainly, manning the controls, switching sensors back and forth to look where you had been, Deimos disappearing behind you, looking towards the belt ahead of you, which is, at this point, you can't see the individual asteroids, right? They don't glow. Occasionally, you might catch a bit of light that reflects off of one of them as detected by the sensor suite on this DSV as it barrels itself into the belt beyond. Our camera sinks away from the vessel. Outside of the hull, we see the brilliant blue plume of fusion energy spill from the back of this vessel as it tears itself across the solar system on its way to the belt into the void. That's where we'll pick up next week.
Yeah.
Got
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's the first session. Yep. Because it's the first session, you did a good job with all your role-playing stuff. You set everything up. Everybody gets 1 XP.
Ooh,
Hey.
shit, yeah. As we travel off into the void, you see lean back in, I guess, one of the chairs in the cockpit with her foot up on the dash, and she's grabbing onto a small pendant around a chain around her neck. Small coin-shaped pendant. Staring into the void.
Awesome.
The other leg probably like shaking up and down, you know? Like nervous energy.
All right. And with that, we'll pick up. That's awesome. So next week, assuming that we're all good to play next week, we should pick up literally right at this moment, and then just continue forward from here. So I look forward to seeing everybody next week. I look forward to seeing where this goes, how the heck they're gonna deal with this situation, how that's all going to play out. It's going to be really fun. I'm super excited to do that. I want to say a special thanks to Syrinscape for doing our audio. You hear it in the background now. There's clicks and beeps and the sounds of the engines. Syrinscape does a really great job with their interface. That's really cool. And then beyond that, I just want to say thanks to all the people that make the maps and stuff that we work on here and play with. There's a lot of you out there. I can't mention you all, but I do want to give a special thanks to a couple of people. So first of all, and there's Lunatic Design, who does a bunch of maps and stuff. We're going to use some of those later on. They're great. You can check them out on Drive-Thru-RPG. And then I also want to give special thanks out to a guy named 0 Hour. It's 0, like the actual number, dash HR. It's a fella named Ryan Wolf. He's a really great ship deck plan creator. Makes some of the best in the industry, I think, maybe. I want to give a special shout out to him. We're going to use a bunch of his stuff. Everybody should go look for his stuff and buy it too, if possible. He's battling cancer right now, so anything that you can do to help, I'm sure he would appreciate it. But with that, we're going to pick up next week. We look forward to seeing you there and other skies. That'll be Into the Void, Part 2. See you then.